Yes, yes, guys. You know what time it is. It's your boy Jack here with the fan show today on the Irish Hotspur. Everybody, we already have a few in the back end ready to come on. So, everybody that does have that fan show membership, do hit that link. It is up in the community section. Also, as well, I did put up the link to grab that fan show membership as well in the community section for all you out there who do want to hop on. David isn't able to join us today. He's just picked up a bit of kind of a bug from the illness or from the missus, a bit of an illness from her. I think he'll make a pretty speedy recovery, though. So pretty sure he'll be back with us soon. But it's just going to be me today. I think we've gotten used to that at some stages. It's just been me kind of hogging, all the limelight for the fan show. And we'll just be nice and cozy with whichever people will be having on. We already have a few lined up. So everybody do hit that link. Let's welcome a few of the Harris Army into the building, though. Tottenham Tantra Gold in the house saying, ladies and gentlemen, live from Kildare. Unfortunately not Dermot and Brooklyn, New York, introducing the best duo since Hoddle and Waddle. So please, everyone, like and subscribe and get your memberships. Everybody, check out Tottenham Gold as well. He is back better than ever, and he's going to be making a huge comeback for this upcoming season as well. So everybody, check out Dermot's channel, Tottenham Gold. Big up, my man. Really do appreciate it. And he says, in the red and blue corner, live from the Big Apple, he is the best stats man on YouTube. So ladies, get ready for the man who is the channel pinup man. So here he is, Jack the Son, stats man Kaneki. Thank you very much, Dermot. And also, I must say, I apologize that he had to work overtime and put that big up and pump up for David. And he's not even here to receive it. And honestly, quite rude of him, Dermot. Quite rude of him. Good to see you, Moondog. Have the coaster being used as we speak, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. The regulars in the house saying, can't wait for the fixtures to be announced on Thursday. Come on, you Spurs. Didn't even know that, the regular. I guess we'll be looking forward to when those West Ham fixtures are, when those Gooner fixtures are and whatnot, the Chelsea as well. I mean, absolutely, the regular. Great call. I didn't even think about that. Mick Hermalock in the house saying, good evening, Jack and Dave. Big up, Mick. Always good to see you, my man. RAI in the house saying, big up, David and Jack. Good to see you, RAI, as always. Ricky Nato saying, evening, brothers. Good, getting excited for the new season. Glad to see we're trying to get our transfers done nice and early. Come on, your Spurs. Absolutely, Ricky. I mean, I think Antonio Conte wants, 4 to 5 of his signings already done by the time that they set off for Korea. So we're probably on the right track by the looks of it there, Ricky. Mark H saying, good evening, fellow Spurs fans, the most patient and supportive fans on the planet. Absolutely, Mark. Love to see that, my man. Paro Miguel Escobardo in the house saying, big up Davide and Jacko. Big up everyone in the chat. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army. Come on, you Spurs. Big up Paro Miguel. We also have George Hill in the house all the way in New York saying, afternoon, evening, lads. Hope you're both keeping well, feeling like an addict facing withdrawal symptoms from football. Desperate for Spurs news and updates. Looking forward to another banger today. Big up, George. Really appreciate you tuning in. I think we have a few news, to maybe get your fix today, George, but not the best type of fix, my man. You're going to have to tune in another time. We'll have juicier stuff for you to get your Spurs fix. But big up, George. Good to have you in the house as always. Chris, we're going to be speaking to him later, and hopefully he'll be apologizing to me for those winky accusations. But big up, Chris. Mark Burke saying, Ben walking down the aisle to Champions League music has to be the most iconic thing I've ever seen. I didn't get to see that yet, but I'll take a look, Mark. That's absolutely glorious. James is in the house. Good to see you from Spurs Related. Everybody, check out that amazing stream that they just did the other day. And they also finished with some pretty good jokes about cooking an egg in a microwave as well, I must say. Big up, James. Theo Isaac is in the house. Eamon Buns, good to see you. We also have Duncan Radford. Absolutely, my man. Do appreciate you. Give them the credit they deserve. Blue Eyes saying, big up the Harris Army. Come on, you Spurs. Big up, Blue Eyes. We also have R Green with that membership. Pop on, my man, if you feel like it, saying, evening, everyone. Good to see you, R Green. Shamu Van Spurs saying, no Gavardio for Croatia. Is he injured? Not too sure, Shamu. Not too sure, my man. Welsh Gal in the house, as always, saying, big up yourselves. Top class, lads. Greeting to the Harris Army and the Flat Cap Army. Welsh Gal, one of the best regulars in the house. Love to see you, Welsh Gal. Good to see you. Leon saying, evening, lads. How you doing? Good, I hope. Always good, Leon. Always good, my man. We wouldn't be on if we weren't good, my man. Big up, Leon. Old Soul, always good to see you. And I think maybe this is this Old Soul, and now he's just Old Soul. Maybe he's just changed it. Maybe I've missed that. Big up, my man. Brian McGuire in the house saying, come on, you Spurs. We also have Ben Kaufman as well. Saying, if you smell what the cow is brewing, that's the best I can do, Ben. I'll see if I can do it better later. Big up Ben Kaufman in the house. Just making sure I'm not missing anybody. Martin Walton, evening from Lisbon. Sounds absolutely gorgeous, Martin, especially this time of year. And I must say, I would love to learn some Portuguese, especially some European Portuguese. Just sounds absolutely sick in kind of a linguistic sort of sense. So let me know if you can teach me anything. Dan THFC saying my birthday is the day before the schedule is announced. So it's coming up this Wednesday. Happy birthday, Dan. A big June birthday. And the missus just had her birthday as well, Dan. Hopefully you're keeping well, my man. Hopefully you're keeping well. And then also Justin Grierson, Derek Smith, Carl Higgins, Music Realm, and then as well, Mark Spur. Always good to see all of you. Really do appreciate you guys tuning in. Everybody, do smash that like button while you're in here. Do smash that subscribe if you are new to the Irish Hotspur. If you are new to this channel, like I said, everybody, in the community section as well as in the description, you can grab that link to get that fan show membership. And the link is then in the community section for all people with that fan show membership. We did just kind of redo and kind of spiff up all the memberships. So there's kind of new kind of, stuff that comes with it. With the elite membership, you're getting kind of some giveaways and whatnot and raffles that you get to participate in. When it comes to the fan show membership, you get 2 fan shows now a week. So I would say take a look at it, everybody. As always, everybody, I will try to bring up your comments as best I can throughout the show, but I am going to be kind of communicating with the people that are coming on. So if you do feel like you want to kind of get your questions across, if you do want to maybe at any stage, maybe ask, whoever's on the show or even myself a certain question, feel free to throw it in a super chat. It's also a great way to support the channel. But we're going to get our first guest on from Tottenham Gold. We have Dermot.
How are we doing, my everyone? Man? How are you, Jack?
Doing
all
right.
How are you this evening?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Doing all right. I will admit, as much as David is going to be missed, I get to, ask all the questions. It's kind of all in my control today. It could go any which way I want it to.
You're like a little kid in the candy store.
Exactly. Kid in the candy store with a bit of evil, kind of tendencies maybe as well.
Yeah.
But Dermot, is there any news that has kind of caught your mind, or would you rather me just, start, hitting you with some of the news that have been happening?
I was watching Matty Hayes this evening, and they were talking about Spence and then ERIKSEN. ERIKSEN have put out there that he's Brentford have put out that he's been released, but they're ready to offer him a new contract. I don't really want ERIKSEN to come back.
Why is that?
I think he had his time at Spurs. I think we need to start looking forward than looking back at players. It never works the second time around. And I just think we need to go after better replacements. I think he had his time with us. And I think he just needs to look elsewhere. If he does come back to us, then of course I'll support him. He's a Tottenham player. I'll give him my whole support. But personally, I don't really want him back. I think we need to start looking forward. On the Spence deal, I think it'd be a great addition for us on the right wing back. It will also give a chance to have Doherty in a sort of in a backup role, because I think Spence is the future. And I just think it's brilliant. I think we've done 2 bits of business early. And I think we're going about it the right way for the first time in a long while. And it's actually quite nice to be a Spurs fan.
It is nice to be able to be doing business early for the first time in a while. But I think the reason we are doing business early is because Conte wants the majority of his players in before they, take that flight off to Korea, Dermot. Do you feel like he will get 4 players in before he sets off?
I think he will. I think Paratici will get them in. I think Conte will get what he wants. Even if they get 3 in, it's better than what we've always done. And I think we got to be all excited about this, because this is such an opportunity we've got.
Right.
We really have to take this by the balls effectively.
Yeah.
And just run with it, because we've got such an opportunity. Yeah. And I just think Paratici's restructuring everything behind the scenes from top to bottom, bringing in new academy director, bringing in the Rangers chief scout, I think, as well, who was at Liverpool. They're bringing in loads of new players. And I think, as Matty said also, it's not just for when Paratici's here, it's for when he leaves. He's sorting out his legacy.
Okay.
So we could have the next 10 or 15 years of the right people in the right place at Tottenham, buying in the right players. So we can be successful for a longer stretch.
Absolutely. Do you feel like, though, what is it about ERIKSEN, because that's where you wanted to start, what is it about ERIKSEN that kind of underwhelms you about re-signing him? You know, why is it that you're not excited about, you know, maybe him if he were to come?
I think one of it's to do with his health.
Mhm.
You know, that's one bit of it. The other bit of it is when he left, he down tools.
Yeah.
And I think we can't forget that he did down tools to get his big move to Italy. Even if you look at Harry Kane, with all the Ferrari around him, he gave 100%, good or bad.
Yeah.
And it was, you could see ERIKSEN sort of down in tools. And I think that's the only thing that I have against him coming back. But as I said, if he comes back, I will support him like I would support any other Tottenham player. Do you know what I mean? He was good for us, but I think we need to start looking forward. There's no point bringing players back because sometimes it doesn't work the second time. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it might not. No, it might not. And also, you know, maybe, do you think maybe then Conte's, you know, sort of words with Eriksen being, you know, saying, you know, he was very complimentary, right, of Christian Eriksen when, you know, he was, you know, asked about him. Do you think that's just because of courtesy, you know, just to be nice, or do you think he really does want Christian Eriksen back? If you were to read Conte's mind,
I think it's a bit of both. I think he's being polite, and I think he's being courtesy, but I also think he knows what a player Eriksen can be. I mean, if you could bring on Eriksen and Bale for the last 15 or 20 minutes of a game, you're losing. You know, one of them can switch it and turn the game around for you in a split second. So do you know what I mean? He probably has that at the back of his head. But personally, for myself, I think we've done that. We've had Eriksen. We should enjoy the time we've had with him and then look for other avenues, I think.
Absolutely. I think we should be looking probably for other avenues. And to be honest, as much as I think Christian Eriksen, if Conte wants him, then I want him. But I feel like there's a plethora of creative midfielders out there available to us. Maybe let's switch gears, though, a bit here, though, Dermot. Another big kind of set of news has been that Spurs are taking a look at Richarlison, and supposedly we actually really like Richarlison. I mean, the big part about this that confuses me is the fact that the quotes of the fee that would be, you know, supposedly that they would accept would be around something, I think Ben even said in the back end, £60 million or something around that fee. I mean, it just seems absurd for someone that might not even break into the first team.
Yeah, I mean, I would love Richarlison at Tottenham. I think he's a brilliant player. I don't think he's technically he's good, but you get the passion from him, you get the hard work from him. Okay, he's Brazilian, so he got that South American temperament. Of course, you're going to get him throwing his toys out the pram. You probably get it like with Bentancur. All South American players are like that. But to have him on there for, you know, for passion and for hard work, then yeah, go ahead. And if we can get Winks, apparently Winks is in that deal as well. I think that's a great bit of business. And you know, I don't know Mora's in it, but as Ben said in the background, would you see Mora moving 2 years at Tottenham, then he wants to go back to Brazil? Can you see Everton signing them on a 2-year deal? Probably not. But anything that gets Winks out the door, yeah. But I think I'll go for it. I think it's a brilliant bit of business. Do you know? And we're going to have loads of games.
He seems like the right player. He seems like the right player. It's just the price seems to be a bit too high.
Yeah, but also he's got Premier League experience. We've bought in strikers before from European, from Italy, from Spain, where they haven't settled, where they haven't just got the grips with the Premier League. He's got Premier League experience, so you know what you're getting. We watch him look how he played for Everton when they were in their escape from relegation. He was one of their best players, to be fair. And to have him on there for the last 20 minutes, if you're chasing a game, swing them on. Or Conte might play them both up front.
Yeah.
And play Sonny, you know, behind the two of them.
Yeah. I think he'd be more of like someone that could fill in for Sonny when maybe Sonny needs a rest, and he could fill in for Kane when Kane needs a rest. He'd probably be able to play both positions actually quite well.
Because he's a left winger, I think. He plays on the left side for Brazil in their formation. So he can play too. So
Everton. Yeah, he plays both. You're right.
So I think it's a great bit of business.
I like that.
I really do.
Something kind of interesting here as well, though. Let's talk about departures. Reguilón, supposedly he's on the way out. A lot of people predict him to be leaving, and Juventus are maybe a big team in for him, as well as maybe Barcelona potentially going back in for him. But I don't see that happening. I think that's absurd. But Juventus rumors are happening. What do you think? Reguilón, is he just someone that we will not be seeing in a Spurs shirt next season?
I would personally keep him. I think for when he has played, he's done his best. I just don't think he's had the right manager. Okay, we've had 6 months of Conte, but I think when he came in under Mourinho and then you got Nuno, you haven't got one manager that's past his best and another manager that cannot manage at that top level.
Yeah.
So do you know what I mean? I would give him this season. I wouldn't sell him. Because we've sold players before and we've left ourselves short in certain positions. Mm-hmm. And then we're panicking then in January, we need somebody in.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wouldn't sell Doherty either. I'd keep him as a backup. If you got a back, I think, was it Rufus said in the background, we need a player for every position backup-wise. So no, I wouldn't keep him, but, it's down to Conte and Paratici. If they think they can get a good deal for him, then fine. I don't know if he's still within the 2 year of his loan deal. And if is it a certain point that we have to pay Real Madrid a certain amount? Is it 32 million or 23 million for him?
Mm-hmm.
So do you know what I mean? If we to save us paying that money for him and we can move him on, then I think that would be a good bit of business. But personally, I wouldn't sell him. I quite like Reggie.
I think, Dave and I are kind of the same way. We've always had a bit of a soft spot for Reggie, but I'll be honest, Dermot, I see him leaving this summer, and I see him definitely going to probably some sort of club like a Juventus of some sort that has interest in him. And maybe he even does go back to Real Madrid, to be fair, because I feel like that left back spot is up for grabs after Marcelo's been leaving. Ferland Mendy hasn't really impressed too much. So it could be, definitely, I think he has destinations available to him. And I think we are going to be, probably having to part ways with Reguilón, which I'll be honest, it'd be kind of sad to see. Last kind of, question here for you, Dermot. Sonny's dad has just had some quotes, kind of released that are a bit strange. And he was being asked about his son, and then being kind of asked about why, maybe what it takes in order for Sonny to be world class. And he answered, he must be able to play a solid role in one of the world's top clubs. That's when he'll become a world-class player. It was kind of interesting because it almost suggested he needs to leave Spurs in order to become a world-class player. I'm not sure if you've seen these quotes, have heard of these quotes. They've come out recently. Do you think it was mistranslated? Do you think he means something else? I mean, what do you think he means?
Who knows? Who knows what he
weird.
means?
Strange quotes.
It is very weird. I mean, to be fair, Tottenham are one of the biggest clubs. In England. If you go by our history, we're one of the biggest clubs in Europe. If we go by history alone, I think also Sonny's dad. I think it's the same with any parent that have got a top athlete in any sport. They're never going to be. They're sort of playing their son's career are in their own eyes. Do you know what I mean? So he could either go for one level. So he's saying, right, I want you to do better. I think Sonny's dad has been supportive of him, I think, during his time at Tottenham. But I don't think Sonny needs to move. I think Sonny's in the right place. And I think his dad should really, to be fair, keep a nose out of it a little bit. Because...
Yeah, maybe, do you think it's just him being a tough dad? Or something like that, being a hard, not showing him any praise even when he probably deserves it. He's just a tough, influence.
I don't mean to be rude or anything, but I think some South Korean men can be quite harsh. I think any person can be quite harsh. And I think he's trying to tell him, I think in a way, you need to knuckle down. You can become the best in the...
It's maybe one way of being really extremely humble, I guess. It's one way of, trying to make him be humble, I guess. But
I think so. And also tell him, look, you can be the best in the world. You need to show me you can be the best in the world. But, any father with their children will always want them to do better than what they've done themselves. I mean, I saw a picture of him and he scared the shit out of me. I'm thinking, jeepers, I wouldn't like to come home late from the pub. He'd wait for me at the door.
I don't know if you're allowed to even go to the. I mean, you probably are allowed to go to the pub, but yeah, you're gonna have to do some push-ups to work off the beer. The next day. Maybe if you don't expect.
I think Sonny is such a humble human being. Anyway, I just think he's. I don't think he'll take much notice of what his dad's saying. I think out of respect he will, but I think Sonny's got his own career and his own mind, what he wants to do, and he's happy at Tottenham. So why rock the boat?
Yeah,
Tottenham are making money out of him. Tottenham are making money out of him because of all the South American merchandise they can sell, and they've got the tour coming up. And Sonny, top goal scorer last season for us. He's really going up to another gear. So yeah, I think it's a bit of 6 of one, a half a dozen with the other, but it's just a parent being a parent, isn't it?
Yeah,
wanting better for your children than yourself. So I think we can take it sort of with a pinch of salt, I think.
Yeah, I think we can take it with a pinch of salt, Dermot. I think that's a great level-headed answer by yourself. And speaking of level-headed answers, and maybe where we could find more of them, Dermot, I know your channel is going to be making a big comeback this summer, or at least at the end of this summer. Tell us about Tottenham Gold.
Tottenham Gold. We've dumped the tantrum because Channel really wasn't really tantrum enough. So we've gone to Tottenham Gold. We've got a new logo. We're getting a new intro. And on Saturday at 8 o'clock GMT, Izan and Mark are doing a transfer show. And as for next week, I'm going to start a series from Xbox onto the channel where I'm going to take Spurs through the Champions League. And then I will be doing the FIFA 22 season all next season. See, can I take Spurs to glory on my own as manager of Tottenham, and I'll be doing that a weekly series as well. So yeah, there's a lot of good things coming up on the channel. I've enjoyed my break, but I'm itching to get back to Talk Tottenham now. And yeah, so Saturday Izan's on with Mark, and then I'll be back for the first game of the season, and then we've got the FIFA stuff coming on the channel as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. So we're trying to get the 500. We're 4-2 tree, and we're trying to get the 500 before the start of the season. So I want to start the season on 500, and then we're going to kick on there and reach 1,000 before the end of next season. That's my goal.
Let's get to the 1,000 before the season ends. I think that's a very modest goal for yourself, Dermot. You're going to absolutely smash that. And then you're going to have to come up with a new goal after that, my man, probably mid-season. But
I'll retire then. Once I reach 1,000, I'm retiring.
Just drop the mic after that and then walk out.
I'm going to drop the mic, shut the door, and keep on walking.
Love that. Close the door behind you as well.
Yeah.
But Dermot, really appreciate you coming on, my man.
Yeah, and please, everyone, like, subscribe, get your memberships. Dave, I hope you're feeling better as well. And, come on, you Spurs. And Jack, enjoy the company you got tonight. You got some great guests coming up, so I'll enjoy watching.
Plenty of good company tonight.
Big up the Harris Army, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Dermot. And Dermot, thank you for setting us off right. It's very important. I think the first person that goes, they have to set the tone, and everything. And you've set it off in a very good way. Really well done, Dermot. So
thank you very much.
Speaking to you soon. Hopefully we'll be getting you on a panel show sometime soon. If not, we'll get you on the next, fan show. But of course, when we get David back, then we'll probably be able to get more of those panel shows going.
Yeah, Dave's probably hiding after Mayo beating Kildare on Saturday. So
I saw that ridiculous comeback. I'm waiting for Rob Coyne, to tune in, and but he's probably disappointed that David isn't in here. Maybe David is just hiding from Rob. Maybe he's just hiding from Rob. But,
I left him alone Saturday. I had a bit of a chat from Sunday, and I didn't want to. I sort of tased it, and he wasn't happy. I thought, right, I'm not going along that subject.
Honestly,
so I was waiting
Dermot,
for tonight.
I'll say this because David's not even here right now. I mean, absolute bottle jobs. I mean, they had it in there. They had it in their hands. They just bottled.
Well, I mean, we were 6. There were 6 points ahead. And I mean, I turned on after the other
game as well. They were winning the whole game.
They just ran out of steam, Kildare. It was just, I mean, we were very lucky to win that, but we're in the quarterfinals of the All Ireland. We've got Wexford, actually, my county won the hurling they're in the semi-finals, quarterfinals, or the semi-finals. Can't remember the hurling or Ireland. Mayo, where my father's from, they're in the quarterfinals against Kerry.
Nice.
So this is the year we're going to big up the Big Sam. This is the year we're going to win a trophy.
Alrighty. Well,
all right.
Multiple trophies coming. See you very soon, Dermot. Thanks.
See you later, Jack. Take care.
Bye. There you are, everybody. Dermot from Tottenham Gold. Everybody show him the support he deserves. Hit that link. Hit that big red button for the subscribe. He's a Spurs fan just like the rest of us, so he deserves the support, everybody. But we're going to keep moving on. Everybody, if you do want to stop the show at any stage, and if you do want to support the channel, feel free to throw in a super chat. It's a great way to support the channel. It's a great way to get your comments up on screen, and also maybe to ask, the guest a question. But we have a debut coming up, and I'm looking very forward to it. We have Rufus, Rough Cut, one of the best names of the Harris Army. Good to see you, Rufus.
Harris Army. Big up the Harris Army. Nice to see you. Nice to meet you.
What's it feel like? I mean, now you're, anything on your mind that, is there a special reason you wanted to come on today?
I just wanted to join in general, especially like you said, if anybody watching, I live in the Black Forest in Germany. I'm an expat. So I don't really get to speak Tottenham every day, or, everybody's fan of Bundesliga clubs and stuff like that. So you don't really get that banter that you used to have back home. With your friends. Like, I grew up with a few boys. We were all Tottenham fans. We used to go to the White Hart Lane, go in on the turnstiles. I went to an away game at Portsmouth semi-final. It's back in the day you could do it. And today it's impossible. I've got my membership pending and everything. I want to go to the new stadium this year. I want to take my son as well. He's 21.
Wow. Oh, I mean, you have to take him. I would say that,
he's diehard
both experience it for the first time. He's
diehard Tottenham. Absolute diehard.
Well, then, it's almost like it'd be like a communion for both of you, like a christening of your both, for your first stadium experience. I love that.
I don't know, because I saw a review on that H Club, which is like that best experience. And I was just online by Spurs, looking at it, and then popped up a little speech bubble, and the woman was on there, like, can I interest you? I was like, no, I just saw the prices. I was just looking for a one-off experience for my son's 21st. And she said, oh, no, nice. You can do the H Club as a one-off experience. I think it was about like 500 a ticket with the meal and...
Yeah.
I said to him, if you want, I'll do that for your 21st birthday present. And he said, no, I want to go in the stand and wear my shirt.
Nice. Yeah, exactly. He wants to be with the rest of everybody. Right. Exactly.
So I was like, well, it saved me a few quid, so I'm happy.
Yeah. He's saving. Yeah, you say he's a good son. He's saving you a few quid. Speaking of sons, we were just having that conversation. I figured maybe if you wanted to add anything to it, Sonny's dad was kind of recently talking about, like, Sonny's sort of world class, kind of debate. I mean, if you ask me, I think there's no debate at all. He's easily world class and clearly world class, but he did say he must be able to play a solid role in one of the world's top clubs. That's when he'll become a world class player. Do you feel like it's his dad just being really harsh? Do you think it's his dad just being kind of mistranslated? Or
I
something?
saw a different translation where it said he needs to give 10% more.
Interesting. Maybe that was it. Maybe it was lots of quotes or something that they were taking or something.
I'm not too sure, but I was reading something in Germany, and that they translated it as that he needed to give 10% more than what he's doing now to be truly world class.
I think that I saw that quote as well. Now that you said
I didn't see the other quote, to be honest.
But even just that one that you're talking about, that is still like it's a bit strange, right? Because you feel like, I think he is world class already. He does work exceptionally hard. Where do you think this? Do you think it's just his dad is always like that, just really tough on him? Doesn't want to, be. Doesn't want to brag about him or anything like that, because some people are like that, and that's okay. Some people don't want to really seen bragging about their son or anything, which is totally understandable.
Yeah, I think the Asian people that I know are very modest,
Yeah, or at least in his case, or at least his dad's case is very modest. He's clearly very modest and doesn't want, he wants him to be humble. Yeah.
maybe if he just thinks if Sonny thinks he's world class, he's not going to improve anymore.
That was part of the quotes, actually, right? Was he said is that if Sonny already considers himself world class, he said that's not good for him.
I mean,
it doesn't motivate him.
As hard and as unfair as it was with this PFA Team of the Year and Player of the Year and everything else like that, actually, as a Spurs fan, I'm quite happy, not because Sonny got unfairly treated, which he purely did. I mean, it's unspeakable what's happened to him. It's not even to get in the Team of the Year, and somebody like Ronaldo, after 2 hat-tricks, walks into it. It's ridiculous.
Or even Sadio Mane, the guy that he plays the same position as, who he outscored as well, also getting ahead of him. Same
it's just
position.
a travesty. But as a Spurs fan, I'm quite happy because I think Sonny's coming back super hungry.
Yeah, like vengeance.
I think Sonny's going to come back next season. He's going to be super hungry. He's going to have a point to prove. He's going to have a pre-season with Conte, which Perisic says is brutal. And that's why I've got to hang on something that Dermot said earlier. I mean, I disagree with him about ERIKSEN. I'd love to see ERIKSEN back because we don't have a dead ball player.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, we could really, really do with that. But the thing he touched on was the health, and I do worry about that because apparently Conte's like training regime, especially his pre-season, is absolutely brutal.
Yeah. Do you think with ERIKSEN? Do you think ERIKSEN could handle? Yeah, Perisic is saying that, and he's 33, turning 34 next season, I believe. Do you think him and ERIKSEN can handle that sort of preseason, going into it? Because especially Premier League preseason is tough.
I mean, it's just something that Dermot touched on, and it would sort of like really worry me if like we took him back and then he like got into a really, really big, massive game and something happened,
Mm-hmm.
Because we are going to be a very, very physical side. But like Ward-Prowse, you're playing English tax, and it's the price is a bit extortionate.
It is a bit extortionate. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, and then you got Pepe's Bastoni. Like everybody's sort of like hanging on that a little bit still.
Yeah. What do you think of the Richarlison rumors here, my man? Like, is that someone, do you think he's too expensive? Is that someone you like?
That was a complete left ball to me. I know we'd sort of like shown some interest, but I really didn't think we'd sort of like go in as apparently as deeply as we have. I just find the price a bit high, but then Dermot said before, if we can throw Winksy in or something like that as a make weight,
that would almost
actually becomes quite a good deal because Conte said himself, we need 2 players for every position.
Yeah. That would almost inflate the price if you ask me, my man.
But, like somebody was like, Richardson, he's not better than Kane. He'd never get started. And these fans, they really annoy me because what is it? Harry Kane is going to start every league game, every cup game, every FA Cup game, every England game. Like I said, it's not FIFA, And at the end of the day, we're going to need a good backup. And what happens if Kane turns his ankle and he's out 3 months?
Yeah, that's a very good point. It's a very good point. I think we have to come to terms with, we're going to have to get used to the fact that the players that we have been seeing play almost week in, week out, play every game, are not going to be playing every game like we've gotten used to. Son and Kane, Højbjerg, these guys play upwards of like 45, plus games like every year in all competitions. And I don't know if they can continue to do that, especially if we want them to continue their career, with the, pretty long spell. I think that's a really good point there.
And this season's going to be brutal because of the World Cup being when it is.
Absolutely. And so especially if their country goes a long way.
We're starting earlier. We're going to have to fit in loads of games, not just for the league, for Champions League, for Cup and stuff like that. And then we're going to have this weird sort of like, and it can't just be a 3-week break because England have to meet and train and stuff like that. So then you have this big break in between for us fans, but not for the players that are international stars. Then they go into a World Cup and come straight out of a World Cup and back into league. We're going to need these players. And Richarlison was a bit of a left ball for me, but yeah, we're going to need players like this.
I think we would. And to be fair, he works extremely hard as well, you know, and he that's what people like about him, is that he shows a lot of passion and works really hard, which is probably why maybe even Paratici and Conte might even like the guy in the first place, if I'm going to be honest.
And Dermot made the best point, is he knows the Premier League, and we know that he knows the Premier League. And
he's played for some pretty bad teams in the Premier League as well, so he knows it very well.
Yeah, I mean, you can get somebody else for 50 million, you know?
Yeah,
you can swap them out. You can get somebody else for 50 million, and then they're a flop. They've never played in the Premier League.
Yeah, that's a good point. Whereas with Richarlison, you know what you're getting. You know what you're getting. That's
you know what you're getting. I didn't think about it. Honestly, I didn't think about it until Dermot said. But when he was said like Winksy as a make weight, I was like, yeah, that makes it a much more attractive deal if we get good. Because maybe we can get more for Winksy as a make weight.
Yeah.
As we could have just selling him to some other club.
I think that's killing two birds with one stone there, you know, and in fact, because then you're getting rid of Winksy and you get that backup striker in at the same time. You know, that's a fantastic move. That's a move
he's
right
a
there.
nice lad, but I mean, that's like with all the players coming in. I mean, here's a question for you: what are we going to do with Skip?
Skip, I think, is going to still have a pretty good role when you think about it, right? Because Bentancur and Højbjerg are right now the first choice midfielders. And so Skip is then going to be the one that comes in for either one of them when they need to come off. And then let's say we bring in an ERIKSEN, you know, perhaps, or something like that. Skip still has, I think, a good role in this team. I think Skip still is going to play plenty
I can't remember which game it was now when he made them 2 crunching tackles.
Yeah. I think it might have been Everton, in fact. There was an Everton game where he made some pretty spectacular tackles.
It was 2 2-footed slided tackles, but really clean. Like one, and they were both just sort of like...
I think he's getting plenty of game time. I think he'll, in fact, probably play a bit of Champions League, if I'm going to be honest. I could see him playing in the Champions League.
No, but
because I could see him being really pumped up for those sort of fixtures, and especially if we need, you know, a hard-hitting midfielder in there, you know, he'd be the right guy.
I was just thinking about it because sort of like every time I see like in these newspaper articles or things popping up online where people do like Tottenham's 11 for next year, he's never there. You know, you get your Bentancurs and stuff, but you know, like that, Skip's never there. I'm like, actually, in the first half of the season, he's probably one of my favourite players.
I think, to be fair, we just released our keep, loan, sell on him. And I even said what's funny about Skip is he probably was the best player under that Nuno era that we had, that very brief Nuno spell. He probably was our best player, in fact, in that team.
He did all right under Conte, and then he had that injury.
Well, he really didn't have any time at all under Conte. He sort of that's when the injuries started picking up. So when you really look at Skip, what makes you kind of excited about him, if I'll be honest, Rufus, what makes me excited about him is his best days, or at least when we saw him, was during those really bad times of Nuno. And if he looked really good in that team, under that Nuno team, imagine what he would look like in a good Conte team.
Oh, I'm excited. I think everybody underestimates what a impact player he's going to be next year, as long as he stays fit.
Absolutely.
As long as he stays fit.
Agree.
And that was something that Dave touched on with Djed Spence.
Absolutely. What do you have to say about Djed?
About he was sort of like saying everybody wrote him off and he was working hard and proving them wrong. And did you see that Harry Kane interview?
No, I didn't.
It's very similar to what Harry Kane said. You know, Harry Kane was, I think it was at Queen's Park Rangers, and he couldn't get in
Norwich and Leicester he was at Norwich and Leicester for a long time.
No, I'm talking about Kane when Kane was on loan.
Yeah, I think he was at Norwich and Leicester, but I'm not sure about the QPR one. Maybe it was.
I can't remember. He was somewhere. I'm fuddled sometimes with my brain, but he was somewhere. But I remember the interview, and he was saying like he couldn't even get in the first team there, and he was wondering how can I ever get in the first team at Spurs?
Yeah, if I can't get in the first team here, you're absolutely right.
If he can't get in the first team there, and that was his thoughts, and he's obviously worked hard because he's now like world class, and that was something I liked. But I know everybody says he's got an attitude problem. A few in the back room said he's got an attitude problem. But I did like that, you know, like when Dave said, you know, like he was working hard every time, you know, he was written off, worked hard, broke through, written off, worked hard, broke through. And it sort of reminded me a bit of that Kane interview when Kane said, you know, like I didn't even know I was getting in the first team in this team, let alone Tottenham.
Yeah, absolutely.
He worked hard, and then he got to where he is now. And I hope that they've done their homework, unlike by Ndombele, and that he's not going to be a problem.
I have a feeling that they have done their homework, because that's kind of something that Paratici has mentioned like so many times when he talks about signing players. He says the mentality is just so important, just something that often goes kind of unnoticed, or something that just doesn't really get enough attention. And so I'm pretty sure we've done our homework on Spence. And if I'll be honest, if we are going after Spence, it probably just means that Spurs really highly rate him, and really highly rate him, even probably more than the average football fan does. But Rufus, absolute pleasure speaking with you, my man. Any final words?
The one thing I will say is it's absolutely amazing to be a Tottenham fan at the moment, because sort of like after the Champions League final, there was like a bit of a hangover from that, and then Poch went, and then all of the merry-go-round with the managers, and like the theatre and everything else like that. And now finally, like I said to Dave, brilliant transfer window in January, got rid of the deadwood.
Yep.
It enabled us to get in early now and really get business done, because we didn't have to worry about getting rid of and Dembele's not gone yet, but hopefully. But it's really nice, and it's exciting times. I just can't wait for next season. I mean, I know you can't either.
And it's starting early, so it's coming sooner rather than later, Rufus.
So I've actually got holidays at that time, so I might try and get a ticket for me and my son.
There you go.
I see. If I do, I'll send you a video.
Yeah, please do, my man. But Rufus, hopefully we'll be catching you on plenty more of these. Hopefully we'll see you either for the next fan show Friday, or we catch you next Monday, my man. I want this to be a regular occurrence. Want to see you on more often, my man. This has been a pleasure. Especially you'll be able to get to speak with Dave next time, and you won't be stuck with just me.
It's a pleasure talking to you as well. But I won't hold you up, because I'm sure there's loads of people trying to get online. So pleasure to be here. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Well done, Rufus. We'll talk to you soon, my man. Catch you later. There you are, Rufus, all the way out in Freiburg. Honestly, absolute smashing debut. Continuing the trend of honestly, everybody's had a smashing debut. I'm yet to find somebody that seems to not, be in their element when they go in. It seems like, if you are feeling a bit nervous, I would say everybody like Rufus, people like that, just prove that it is a lot easier. Or it's quite easy, it's natural. You just come on, have your say. I don't bite. Dave doesn't bite. We're quite nice over here. So feel free, grab that membership, hop on the fan show. But we do have a super chat in here from James Coffey saying Conte needs to put Son on direct free kicks. Kane wants to grab every opportunity to score, but for the sake of the team, he needs to step aside. It kind of did feel like that. Maybe that was the only reason Kane was even on the free kicks, was because it was going to help, out, his, sort of accolades, with the goal scoring. To be fair, though, you could kind of see where Kane, was, seen as maybe the free kick taker. He is sort of the best striker of the ball in the entire football team. But at the same time, he's just been one of the worst free kick takers in all of Europe. I think he was about to break that record for going that many games without actually scoring an actual free kick goal, which is why they needed to get him off it. If you ask me, I think the two players that we should be having taking free kicks are Sonny and Moon Boots. Probably Sonny more than even Moon Boots, to be fair. But Sonny needs to be the dead ball specialist from now. And with the free kicks that he scored even recently, James, it's almost like James Ward-Prowse isn't even necessary with some of the free kicks that Sonny's been scoring recently. Almost makes the James Ward-Prowse kind of dead ball specialist sort of kind of narrative not really that powerful or really that influential anymore, if you ask me, James. But great question, my man, a great comment, and I absolutely agree. Sonny absolutely needs to be the dead ball specialist for next season. But we have another guest coming on, somebody that I must say maybe owes me an apology, perhaps. I'm not sure, but we'll see what he has to say. We always love him, the comedian of the Harris Army, Chris. Chris, how we doing?
I think I do owe you an apology. But Jack, the problem is it's these denials which make me wonder. It's the denials. That's all it is. It makes me wonder all these denials. It's making me wonder all these denials about Winks wanting to leave so badly. Maybe, maybe you might just want him to stay.
Chris, I don't know if you saw my keep loan sell, but I pretty much went off for 5 minutes about the guy. In fact, I think I even went harder than even David did. So, you should probably be questioning, David's allegiance, to Winks even at this stage more than even mine. Because I must say, I think I went harder on him than Dave did.
I don't want to get banned from the chat.
As the Harris Army knows, it's a serious accusation. Chris has been accusing me of being a Winks lover recently, everybody, which is just serious accusations, I must say.
Shocking behavior.
But maybe Winks' replacement?
I disagree. I actually disagree with Dermot as well. I would like to actually see ERIKSEN back because we do need somebody who can actually create for us, and I think ERIKSEN would be ideal.
And he's in stunning form right now, like at least in the Premier League he was, Chris. Like he came in with a bang.
Yeah, I understand where Dermot's coming from, where ERIKSEN dropped down tools on us, but. Gareth Bale did initially when he first went to Real Madrid. Before he went to Real Madrid, he refused to play for Tottenham. And we opened our arms back to him again, didn't we?
Yeah. And
so ERIKSEN should be no different.
Yeah. Do you feel like, Chris, in the case, my feeling is with ERIKSEN is that if Conte really wants him, then I really have no qualms.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's like a lot of sort of ERIKSEN-like midfielders out there. Like I think if you wanted to get an ERIKSEN, go get James Maddison. If you want to get an ERIKSEN, go get Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. If you want to get an ERIKSEN, there are a lot of like sort of, even that last guy, Lucas Paqueta, even that Paqueta guy we could go after if we wanted to get an ERIKSEN.
There's a lot of options. There is a lot of options, but I think ERIKSEN will be suited mostly because of his Premiership experience.
Yeah, and to be fair, and similar with Richarlison, you know what you're getting with ERIKSEN. There's that assuredness of what he's going to bring.
See, Richarlison, for me, the price is a bit too high. And I'd like him, but the price is wrong. I like Richarlison because he's got that Lamella shithousery about him.
Yeah, he does, actually. He really does.
Do you know what I mean? He's got that shithousery about him, which you need in every single team. So it would be quite a good fit.
And you could wind him up for the 80th minute, bring him on in the 80th minute, wind him up, and he'd be brilliant, I bet.
But 75 million euros for him, way too much. Way too much for him.
Seems a bit ridiculous. I mean, it's like Everton's bargaining position is a bit strange here because if I'm not mistaken, I think he really wants to leave Everton. So why are they asking that much? Is it just because
payback for Delhi?
Payback for Delhi, maybe it is.
Payback for Delhi.
Probably is, actually. Do you think it also maybe has to do with that, they are in some serious financial, kind of,
quite
debt
possibly,
or whatever it is with Everton? Maybe they're just asking a lot because they need the money at the same time.
Quite possibly, but don't forget, if we're going to hopefully we throw Winks into the mix of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So hopefully
Rufus likes your Lamella comment, by the way. He thinks that's top. He thinks it's a tip-top comment, saying Richarlison.
No, it's true.
Lamella.
Look, he's got look at Richarlison's attitude, right? He's got that attitude on the pitch. He's got that shithousery about him, which Lamella had. And that's what I think we've missed last season, really.
Yeah.
That little bit of shithousery we had.
From like our front players? You mean, especially because we have it in our back line and our midfield. We have Højbjerg and Bentancur and Romero, but we don't have it. But
it seemed up front we had the Mr. Nice guys up front.
Yeah, we have the nice guys up front, exactly, and the mean guys behind them.
You got the ever smiling Sonny, the Mr. Happy Kane now, and Kulusevski, who's always got a smile on his face as well. But you really need that shithousery player as well, that one who can come in and take a yellow card and be happy doing so. And I think that's what I think Richarlison does.
Yeah.
And he's not a bad player.
No, and he wants that yellow card, like you said, Chris, as well. I think that's the type of player that we should bring in. So basically your conclusion is with him is like the price is way too much, but you would want
extortionate.
You would take him, but it's way too much.
Yeah, I'll take him, but the price is ridiculous. If they said, okay, we'll take 30 million and Harry Winks, that would be a good deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or 25 on Winks, that would be a very good deal for us.
What are your thoughts on this price? £20 million is supposedly the fee for Djed Spence. Does that seem like too much? What are your thoughts there?
Well, it's not far off what we paid for Joe Rodon. We paid, 14 million for Joe Rodon from the Championship? So
I think it's actually around the same amount we paid for Emerson because I think we paid 23 million euros or something like that for Emerson. So 20 million pounds for Spence would be close to the same amount we paid for Emerson.
Yeah. But Jed Spence, I've heard a few things about him, which if it is true, his attitude's quite poor. But will Conte accept that behavior in the team? So
do you think maybe if his attitude is poor, I feel like maybe someone like Paratici and Conte would be able to sniff that out maybe ahead of time? To be honest.
Yeah, I think Conte will stamp that out before it starts, to be fair.
Yeah, I think you're right. What do you make of the fact? Like, what do you think he brings? What do you think he brings to the team? I think his best attribute is the fact that he's a really good dribbler. I think he's a better dribbler than the rest of our wingbacks.
Yeah, well, hopefully he can cross. Hopefully he can cross the ball.
We're gonna need somebody to cross for next season, Chris.
See, now I've been hearing a lot in the conversation about Bergwijn. I hope he goes. I can't stand his whinging. He's complaining he wants to leave. Okay, leave. Just
he thinks he's precious as well, Chris. Thinks he's precious.
Well, chat, if he was training properly and doing everything that Conte wanted him to do, he would be getting his starting position. But obviously, there's an issue there where he's not, so Conte will not pick him to start.
Yeah.
So Conte knows best, not Bergwijn. But if Bergwijn wants to leave, bye. I would miss him. He's had too many chances.
Do you think Richarlison is better than Bergwijn? Just, I mean, don't think about the price or anything. Is he just a better backup than maybe Bergwijn?
Yeah. I'll put Richarlison over him every time.
Yeah, I like that.
And he's given himself a bad reputation with all his keeps coming out with his comments. Yeah, I'm leaving. I want to leave. I've told him I want to leave. He's given himself a bad reputation, like Delier did and what Sissoko did. They give themselves bad reputations. Tanguy's done the same thing. Gio's done the same. Give himself bad reputation. Now, Gio hopefully will get rid of him, and hopefully Paul Torres will be a part of that deal. And Ndombele, I just hope he goes to the nearest McDonald's restaurant and stays there.
Gio, you said Gio on a swap deal for Pau Torres. Do you think we could get Winks in a swap deal for Richarlison? I joked earlier that would probably increase the price for Richarlison. In fact, Chris, maybe the reason it's 60 million pounds is because Winks is included in the deal now.
They'll probably offer us back for the free transfer. No, you could
loan Winks back. They loan Winks back.
Yeah, you can have him for another season. We just don't need him just yet.
They could use him in the championship when they get relegated.
Well, mind you, we could probably use Winks and then send him to Middlesbrough, part of the Jed Spence deal.
Yeah, maybe. That would also increase the price, though. Then we'd have to pay 25 million pounds, then, Chris.
Yeah, there is that. I forgot about
that. What are your thoughts on Reguilón, maybe leaving? I've been seeing some big rumors about Juventus coming in for him.
Good luck to him.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? Are you kind of like me and Dave? I mean, you kind of had a soft spot for him because Dave and I had a soft spot for him.
I did, but do you know what? He just become another one of those players like you can't trust him.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
He went from
inconsistent.
Playing really, really well. So why did we even sign this guy?
But do you feel like that was when Conte came in? You felt like, he let you down?
Even in some performances under Jose and even under Nuno. Same thing.
Interesting.
It's not only Conte.
Not just Conte. You think under Nuno and Jose, he disappointed you?
30 million and 50p for wings. Welsh girl, you've given too much there. It's 25p for wings, man. Come on.
Welsh girl, she thinks like Paratici, Chris. You forget about that. She's trying to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, I was just thinking along with Daniel Levy getting the price a bit lower.
You're trying to sell.
I was going. We can't even sell him. We have to give him away.
What do you think?
Buy Ndombele and get Winks free.
Do you think he can actually leave the club, Winks? Because, Everton seemed to be the only club interested. Do you think he actually could be moved on? Because Dave, always, likes to think that it could there's a chance it might not.
He could be moved on. But see, there is one way we could actually get rid of him. Buy Ndombele and get Winks for free. There you go. That's another option for you.
I think he should probably just, honestly, maybe similar situation to Serge Aurier. I really wonder how much that contract is actually worth, and maybe whether it's actually just worth ripping up. Chris, any final, kind of topics, anything that maybe I haven't been asking you, my man, anything that's on your mind before, maybe we let you go, anything that, I didn't ask you?
The only thing is, it was the ERIKSEN thing for me, like, where I would take him back. I would. We do need to play like him. Bastoni deal gone. Well, we know that ship's gone.
Yeah.
He don't want to come. He don't want to come. Can't keep chasing him.
No.
But I'm glad we signed 2 players before the transfer window even started. So that's a good start for us. Makes a change.
Yeah. Do you think Conte is going to get his players before Korea?
I think he might get 3 of them before. So he's got 2 already. He'll probably get Djed, Spence. I think that's the next one. But there's still more to come about the defender. And also, I see we're in Western McKennie as well, which seems to be come up every transfer window since Paratici's taken over.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think it's the reason we're linked with McKennie. I think I told you in the back end is because Paratici, I think, is a big fan of his.
Yeah, and see, this is the thing. Since Paratici took over, we've been linked with McKennie since. It was back in January we were linked to him. All transfer window. We ended up with Bentancur and Kulusevski. So you never know. This time it might actually happen. But we know what Paratici's like. He has about 35 players on the list. Then we'll sit down to 5.
Yeah, I completely agree, Chris. Completely agree. And then maybe Lucas Moura. Just last thing, Chris. Lucas Moura plus Winks maybe for Richarlison.
That's extreme. That's extreme. Lucas. He's one of those players that you really get pissed off with him, but you wouldn't want to see him leave.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those players that he's good for the team, not actually bad for them.
Yeah.
Whereas Winks, he just talks too much.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's just like, I want to get back into the England squad. You're not good enough.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But it's like, Lucas, I would let him let him have his final 2 years, then let him go back to Brazil, personally.
I think that's what he's probably going to do, actually, is just do his final 2 years with Spurs, even maybe one more year, and then finish with Brazil. I think that's exactly what's going to happen, actually.
That's what he should do, really. We shouldn't force him out, because he has actually been quite a good servant to us. Even though we've had shit managers, some of the shit managers like Nuno, he's still put on his, he's still done it. He wasn't one of those players with down tools on the manager. He was one
never
down
continue
playing no matter what.
No
matter what, who the manager was.
Yeah, especially when things get bad, Lucas usually is one of our best players.
Yeah, exactly. Even some of our worst games. That's what got Nuno sacked after the Man United game for bringing Lucas off.
Lucas, in a way, yeah. Lucas was so good for Nuno that the fact that Nuno took him off is the sole reason, I think.
Against the Man United, he got sacked straight afterwards. The morning after he got sacked.
You're probably right. Never thought about it that way, Chris. You're probably right about that.
It was up, even though it was El Sacico against Man United, it was the fact that he took our best player off, who was actually our best player on the pitch on that day.
Just showed how incompetent he was. Just showed how incompetent he was, how much of a garden gnome the man was on the sidelines. But hopefully he's found some use of that 15 million pounds, Chris, that we gave him on his way out of the football club. I mean, geez,
he's in Portugal signing that up.
Yeah, he's spending it over a nice night out in Lisbon. I bet a few Portuguese bottle of wine sounds nice.
Yeah, a few Portuguese bottles of wine, sitting on the seafront, laughing, saying, Daniel Levy, I've got one over on you.
He's probably having a Branzino, every single night,
yeah. Like, just forever saying thank you, Daniel Levy, for the 15 million pound bonus.
Daniel Levy's paying for all of his dinners for the next few years. Chris, absolute pleasure.
Definitely.
Absolute
and Jack, I apologize for calling you a Winks lover.
It's all right, Chris. You're always forgiven. You're always going to be forgiven. But But
Jack, it was
I didn't know what I did to you. I didn't know what I did to you, Chris. I thought
Jack, it was all the denials that got me suspicious.
Maybe it
was all the denials that got me suspicious. That's all.
To be fair, though, the way that you've come out and apologized is probably the way that I need to come out to William Kelly, though. I need to apologize to William Kelly. I haven't seen him in a while, which probably means he's maybe taking some of my winky accusations a bit too seriously, Chris, because
he's waiting till the season starts to see if Winky's still there. That's all.
That's probably all it is. Yeah, I think he's become a Winky lover, if I'm going to be honest, Chris. But well, I guess
I'm
we'll
starting to worry
find out
about David. I'm starting to worry about David. Actually, from the things I've been hearing about Winks. Oh well.
You should ask him if he is a Winky lover. That'll get him right back.
I'll find out. I'll find out Friday's. I'll find out Friday's fan show from him. Don't worry.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll give him the same grinning I gave you, Jack.
Exactly.
I'll give him the same grinning I gave you.
You'll wake him up. You'll wake him up with that one, Chris. Big up, though, my man.
Definitely.
Real pleasure as always.
Right.
See you later.
Everybody, don't forget to smash a like and get some super chats in and support Jack tonight. Come on.
Appreciate you, Chris. I'll catch you soon, my man. Catch you soon. Well done, Chris. Everybody, big up Chris in the comments. He's always top man, always giving you the bit of that comedy, a bit of that relief, and as well, just always has good things to say, and is always a true member of the Harris Army. Big up Chris in the comments, everybody. We are going to keep plowing on, though, everybody. I think we are going from one strength to another. We have now the Cough Man. Hey, how we doing, man?
We're doing all right. We're just chilling. Getting out of the London heat and then back into the cool embrace of the Irish Hotspur family. So hopefully everyone in the chat is doing well.
Cool embrace indeed. Absolutely. Love that. Beautiful, beautiful use of words there, my man. I've had a few of these, banners up here. Any of these that have caught, kind of your eye or that you want to start with? ERIKSEN, Richarlison, Djed Spence, Sonny's dad's quotes, anything there that, thought was a bit interesting to you? Or even your own thing, you're welcome to just, anything that's on your mind that you want to, take away.
I'm not going to go into Sonny's dad's quotes because I haven't seen the quotes. In terms of Reguilón leaving, get him out the door, in my opinion.
Yeah. Let's start there. Reguilón, like Juventus are in for him. Does that make sense? Is that like a club that would make sense? Yeah.
Get him out the door. He's poor in a back three. He's poor as a wing back. He doesn't work well. He's brilliant in a back four. So maybe if he goes to the event, it's really weird. He's got the pace to be in a back three, but he can't play in a back three. So
I don't think anybody predicted him to fail under Conte. I think we all thought he was going to thrive under Conte, and he didn't.
Yeah, we all did, but he's proven to fail. And clearly, he's got a bit of a naughty boy attitude. We saw that during the pandemic with him partying and getting COVID and doing this. And Conte doesn't like that. I think he's one of the people that turn up to training late, which is why Conte changes the day of changes the time of training every day. I think he's one of those people. This is all allegedly. I'm not going to say it, but
no, I believe it. I believe it.
It wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, he's not good in the back as a wing back. So get rid of him. We play a wing back system, so we need players. He's not going to play over Sessegnon now. Sessegnon's better than him as a wing back, even though I'd get rid of Sessegnon as well because he's always injured. He's not going to play over Perisic. It's time to part ways. I think. It's a shame because he's actually a really decent player in my book. But
he's a decent player and he seemed like a decent guy, like he got along with his teammates, and like you said, maybe he's not like the most motivated winner or anything in the squad, but he wasn't exactly, a bad influence in the squad either, Reguilón, it felt like. So it's sort of one of those guys where like, I don't know, Dad, or what do you think, like, Ben? Do you feel like when he leaves, you kind of just feel like he did his job, when he came here, like he didn't really disappoint? He didn't disappoint and he didn't exceed expectations.
Yeah, he's not a failure, but he didn't succeed either. It's one of those ones that just didn't work out. You could see that there was a player there, but he just doesn't fit this current system. If we go back to a back four, he'd be brilliant again. But the problem is, with this managing director of football, I don't see us playing a back four for the next 10 years, at least while Paratici's there. He's always going to pick a manager that plays a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3. Yeah. Going to play an Italian system. So, time to go.
Time to go. And we did that stream a while back, Ben, where you and I were, doing that tier maker of like, didn't work out, like wasn't good enough. Do you think Reguilón is that didn't work out category?
Absolutely. I do not feel that he's ever going to work in a back, as a wing back.
Ever.
It's a real shame because he's got a decent crossing ability. He showed in his first season with Bale and Kane he can cross a ball. So it
kind of boggles the mind how it didn't work out.
It does. It really does boggle the mind. He's got pace. He's got crossing ability. He's aggressive. He's quick.
Yeah.
He's
got stamina. He's got stamina. Gets up and down well. Yeah. It just doesn't make sense. And you feel like Sessegnon had similar abilities that Reguilón does, but for some reason he's found it easier than Reguilón. Yeah, I agree with you. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense. And what do you think it is maybe about Sessegnon, just quickly, that maybe Conte's like so much more, than Reguilón? Is it the
I think
attitude?
He's got a higher ceiling. I think his positioning is better going forward. He always seems to find the right position, even though he might not have the pace of Reguilón. He always seems to be in the right position to receive the ball. And he seems he's got a better defensive ability, which is shown against bigger teams. Whenever we've played a bigger team, he's always played Sessegnon and not Reguilón. So I think Sessegnon's probably defensively better than him. But I think if he can get a better left wing back, I think Sessegnon would be moved on. But he seems to trust Sessegnon, unlike Reguilón. So we'll have to see in future years. If he can stay fit, he's an all right backup to Perisic. But I don't see him playing over Perisic, because Perisic is a much better. Yeah, Perisic is probably considered, possibly in his position, one of the best players in the world. So I don't see Sessegnon playing in any games but like the Carabao Cup, maybe the FA Cup. Won't play in the Premier League and won't play in the Champions League. So maybe it could work.
Maybe it could work. And, what's kind of interesting is with Reguilón leaving, we're still being kind of rumored with a lot of left wing backs. How do you make sense of that? Why are we being rumored with so many left wing backs, do you think? Because it feels like we're sort of covered there, or maybe we're not. I mean, what do you think?
I feel like we're linked with, because we're always looking for new players, I think. If we can find the right opportunity, I think we will pounce on a good buy. For example, the year we found Rafael van der Vaart, we probably didn't necessarily need a Rafael van der Vaart. But if a Rafael van der Vaart comes up, you buy him. So I think it's one of those situations where if we can find a really decent player that's going to revolutionise the team, I feel like we need to pounce on them.
And so we're kind of rumored with that, speaking of a Dutch player, we're rumored with that Owen Wijndal, I believe his name is. I think he's from AZ Alkmaar. Is that something that you see us doing, or is that kind of one of those that is maybe just
how old is he?
Are keeping an eye on. He's really young fullback in the Eredivisie. It seems like a Brian Hill sort of kind of signing.
I've been saying this in a lot of the chats I've been in recently. If we start buying young players, this is not a Paratici signing and this is not a Conte signing. This is a purely Levy signing. It's a total Levy signing. Because what is Levy's MO? Buy young, hopefully become good, sell big. We really need to start buying players for now. And we need to allow the new managing director of football and if it's true, his assistant, the guy from Rangers, they need to be in charge. Not Mr. Levy. Levy has no football knowledge whatsoever. So we can't let him buy players. We need to stop thinking about buying players for their resale value. It's not acceptable anymore. I would say the same about Djed Spence. I don't see this as a Paratici signing. I do not see this as a Conte signing. I see this as a pure Levy signing because he's 20.
Interesting.
He's aggressive. He might have a high ceiling. Buy young. Hopefully they become good. Sell big. I do not see this as a Conte signing at all. I don't see in any physical parallel universe that Mr. Conte and Mr. Paratici are sitting in a lovely coffee shop in Turin, having a couple of coffees or even a wine bar. And so, you know what? We need to sign this Djed Spence guy because apparently he's awesome. I do not see them too. So, yes, Djed Spence playing in the Championship, 4 assists in the entire season. I don't see it. I do not see this as Conte signings at all.
Interesting.
It's slightly worrying.
It is probably slightly worrying if you ask me, actually, to be fair. But I feel like there's maybe the fact that if Spurs got him, Ben, maybe that shows that they rate him more than we probably, rate him. Or do you really probably firmly believe that this is genuinely one of those signings that's just nothing to do with Paratici? It's just Levy, getting his way, where Levy just gets one signing that's his.
I think that's probably the case. I think Levy's got a quota where he gets one guy.
He gets a quota. I love that. Yeah,
exactly. He gets a quota.
A ratio. It's a ratio. He gets a ratio.
Guy a year. Because
one for every 4 signings, there's a Levy signing.
You can't say it's the homegrown factor because we've signed Fraser Forster, who counts as homegrown. We're looking at other English players, but realistically, if we're looking at homegrown players, we should be signing fucking James Maddison. That's a player you buy. He wouldn't be too expensive. Probably, actually, no, I think they want 50, 60 million for him. But immediately improves the team. Homegrown, better than everything we got. Buy him. That's a homegrown player I want to see. One that's going to come into the team and improve it, and not one of these ones that might be good. You might be. It's because I'm fed up of might be good. I want players that are good that we can improve. I don't want to buy.
Perisic is one of those, right? Perisic is the opposite. Someone that you know is already good.
Yeah, you know he's good. You know he's going to be 100% in. He's going to be Conte's man in the dressing room. The players are going to listen to him because he's got experience, he's got the know-how, and he's done it. I don't want any more average players that we want to make good. I want good players who can be great. And it does worry me. But
someone that you do know that's good though, ERIKSEN, what are your thoughts on him? I mean, is he someone that you still rate? Is he someone that you think can still do a job in this team? Or do you feel like Spurs should be done with this guy?
I believe he's better than anything we've got at the moment. I don't like the sentimentality. I don't see him starting because, again, I don't see us playing 4-2-3-1, which is what ERIKSEN has been thriving in this season. It's one of the reasons he's thrived this year because he's playing in a system he's good in.
They switched to a 4-3-3 and a 4-2-3-1.
Or a 4-3-3.
Yeah, they switched to a system he does well, and you're right.
Yeah.
That is true.
Would I accept ERIKSEN? Yes, but there are better players out there for me. But it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer of a signing. But it's going back to the old, and I don't want to go back to the old. We need to go forward with the new. But
do you feel like is he too safe? Like, is that why you don't like it? It's just too safe of a choice or something like that? You know, you'd rather us, go out and get like a Lucas Paqueta or something that, is something different. You would rather us not go back to what we know.
Young players. We need hungry young players. But we need players that are going to fit the system. ERIKSEN's already dumped us once. If he wants to play at Tottenham and he's going to put 100% in, he's going to be one of the best players in the world again.
Yeah.
But I would look at other options. But if Conte wants him, we've got to accept him.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree with you. And then in, the case of Richarlison, are you with Chris's, kind of boat where he's somebody that you like, but it's just way too expensive?
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
For 70 million euro, I think was it 70 million? It says 70 million euro, right? That's what they quoted. For 9 million euros more, you can have Serge Milinkovic-Savic. I'd rather spend 80 million euro and get Serge Milinkovic-Savic.
And that's more useful.
One of the best players in the world, which would be better for our team because then you'd have Bentancur and Savic, or Savic and Højbjerg, or Skip and you can have Savic and everyone. Savic the Savage. Savage the Savage. It's too much money. He's brilliant, Richarlison. He saved Everton's ass. The last 7 games, he was brilliant. One of the best pressures in the league. 20 pressures per game. He's aggressive. He gets 15 goal involvements a year, 10 goals and 5 assists.
He's like the perfect midfielder. And if you like you just said, if you're already spending 70 million euros, you might as well just add a little cherry on top, throw 9 million euros extra. Yeah. What do you make of the fact though that that is, sort of also the same price that someone like Darwin Nunez is going for? Like, it seems a bit ridiculous of Everton to ask that much for Richarlison. What do you think that is? Why are they asking that much?
Beggars cannot be choosers, and they're desperate for money. So I think they're desperate to get as much money as possible to try and save their ass financially. But as well, I've been saying "but" a lot this stream. I apologize, chat. They cannot be choosers.
We're all making caveats.
Richarlison is worth most £40 million, I reckon. He's worth 40 million. He's nowhere near worth 60 million quid. No way in hell. If that's all they will take for him, Richarlison can rot on the bench at Everton for all I care, because he clearly wants to go, and Everton have to accept a fair price for him. He's worth too much. Too much.
Yeah, it is too much, to be honest. And I think what's just kind of a bit bold about it is the fact that he is just somebody that I feel like is worth around 30 to 40 million. I think that's what like Transfermarkt say that he's worth. I think that's like fair. Like if you were to pay 30 to 40 million for him. But what I find a bit ridiculous about it is that he's going for the price that Darwin Nunez is going for, which most people already am saying is like, that's a ridiculous price already. And then Richarlison going for that is it's just extortionate, if you ask me. And that's what Chris said, in fact. It's extortionate. It's an extortionate price.
Basically, they want to take us for a ride because they know we want our players in before we go on tour to Korea. So they want the premium of us because we want our players early. But they can't accept this money. There's something has to be done about these silly transfer fees because they're just not on. They are just not on.
What do you think, though? Is like the backup striker? Like, how much would you be wanting us to spend? Because we need a backup striker, Ben. As much as we love to avoid getting a backup striker, we need one. What would you see us spending? What would you want us to see us spend, maybe? Because I feel like we should go for like an Emmanuel Dennis or something like that. Someone that's relegated, someone that we know might go for a cheaper price. Potentially.
And if you look at it, we're not in for him. But I would rather spend the 280k a week and get Paulo Dybala, who is world class, than go for. Fair. I'd rather spend the £6 million or £6 million signing on fee. Again, this guy Scamacca. Scamacca's better than Richarlison for that money. I mean, I think it's silly. It's really silly. But
I love this comment. Vlahovic went for 70 million. I mean, that's how, just
that's fair because he's young and he's awesome.
No, that's a fair evaluation. But that's even fair. At the time then, though, we were thinking that's a lot of money. We were thinking at the time that's a lot of money. So this Richarlison one just doesn't make sense, if you ask me, Ben. I think the time has flown by. I'll be honest, Ben. Anything I didn't ask you before I let you go?
No, I don't think you did. I think we got through all of it as usual.
I think you said you don't really have an opinion on this because you didn't really see the quote, so it doesn't matter there. Djed Spence, you kind of said you're a bit worried, because he's not exactly Paratici or Conte's choice, so that kind of worries you. Richarlison, we just spoke about that. ERIKSEN, and then Reguilón. Yeah, you covered it all, Ben, I must say, but absolutely flown through, my man, with flying colors. While I'm kind of stalling here, which is essentially what I'm doing, tell me a bit about your channel because I'm trying to get the link up.
Yeah, okay. So you can find us at the Coffee Company, which is at weekdays from 2 p.m, where we have a wonderful bit of peace and reflection time where we be respectful to each other and be nice. And you see the legends of the Harris Army and other people's chats, and we have wonderful times, and we talk other people's cultures, and we drink coffee, and we have a lovely time, and we have a relax. Then on Friday, Mr. Bob Spur TV comes in and throws my show up the wall, and it suddenly becomes the craziest place on the planet. And last week's show, which you should all watch, we did a show where we tasted all the best fake chocolate, and it was brilliant. So every Friday there will be a Paul Stewart, because we love Paul Stewart in my chat, apparently. The Paul Stewart challenge of the week. This week we're doing crisps, where Bob was going to turn up with Kimber as always. And we're going to have a great time as always and have fun.
Love that.
Monday through Thursday, 2 p.m. Fridays at 3:30. Let's have fun. Let's be nice to each other. Let's be best friends.
Love that. Love that. And everybody, show Ben the support that he deserves. He is a Spurs fan at the end of the day, and so he deserves lots more Spurs fans hitting that subscribe button on the channel. I didn't check the number, Ben, but I'm pretty sure you're climbing at this stage. But I do want to see if are you close to any milestone of any kind? Maybe
that 138. So we're very close to the 150 mark.
Okay, 150 mark
by the end of the year. I don't see it happening, to be honest, but the only thing I care about is whether people in my chat are happy and whether they're mental. I don't care if we've got 5 viewers or we've got 1,000 viewers. All I care about is everyone in the chat is happy and everyone's in a good mood, and we can try and make the world a better place. That's all I care about.
Wow, Ben, beautifully said. If you want more of those beautiful words, if you want more of that beautiful, level-headed sort of kind of talk, everybody head on over to Ben's Coffee channel. 2 different links. You can't miss it. There's no excuse. Show him the support he deserves. He's on the road to 150, 200 by the end of the year. I must say, you're going to smash that, Ben. You're getting there because I will say, kind of like Dermot's, very modest goal. So you're going to have to come up with a new one after that, my man, once you smash it. But Ben, absolute pleasure, brother. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you as always. If you smell what the cough is brewing.
If you smell it.
Jackie, cheers. Cheers, chat. Thank you.
Catch you, Ben. Thank you. See you, my man. There you are, everybody. Show Ben the support he deserves, everybody. big up his name in the chat, and then hit that link up as well, and hit that big red sub button, hit that big red subscribe. He deserves it. Everybody, we are going to keep moving on, but we do actually, in fact, have a message over from our sponsors over at Manscaped for this one, everybody. David isn't allowed to join me for this one because he's not feeling well enough, so I am going to have to do it on my own, but plenty more fun for me. Gentlemen, Father's Day is just around the corner, and our friends at Manscaped are here to ensure all the father figures out there are looking daddy material this June. Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0 includes their signature lawnmower 4.0, everybody. So if you are looking for that Manscaped kind of Father's Day gift, you're kind of, wrapping your brain, what do I get the outlet this kind of Father's Day? Which for me over in the US is actually on the 19th. And I think in the UK, it's on the 16th. So feel free, everybody, to grab that package for the father. I think it's kind of hard to figure out what to get for the father, for these kind of, these celebrations. So feel free to use Manscaped as kind of your getaway for maybe a nice little gift for the father. You get 20% off plus free shipping over at Manscaped. And we do have a new video up for you guys. It is going to be improved in the meantime, but we do have a new video coming up. So feel free to enjoy it. And we're just going to take a quick break.
Jack, what did you get your owl lad this Father's Day?
Well, Dave, people have been giving out about his lawn not being trimmed well enough, so I got him this Lawnmower 4.0 instead. David, what did you get your father for Father's Day?
Well, Jack, my owl lad had a hard time trimming the bushes because his garden shears are rusty, so I got a Manscaped Shears 2.0.
Gentlemen, Father's Day is just around the corner, and our friends at Manscaped are here to ensure all the father figures out there are looking daddy material this June. If you're looking to impress your dad this Father's Day, head on over to manscaped.com and use the code FLATCAP from us at the Irish Hotspur to get 20% off plus free shipping.
Jack, just out of curiosity, why did you get your owl lad Manscaped's Lawnmower 4.0 instead of any other lawnmower?
Lawnmowers are expensive, Dave. It's a bit ridiculous to ask me to get him a new one. I feel like his other one was working just fine, so I thought I'd get him a different type of lawnmower. One that's affordable, stylish, help his productivity, and is something I know he would never get himself.
Manscaped is designed with fathers in mind, and the Performance Package 4.0 is here just in time for your pop's special day. Inside this package, he'll find their Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker, ball deodorant and toner, boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold all his goodies.
And all the ladies out there, if you find your man slumped over his lawnmower, crying his eyes out, get him the Performance Package 4.0. He's just going through a rough patch, I swear.
All the sons, treat yourself and your dad. All the dads out there at the Flat Cap Army, buy this for yourself. Your kids might not be the only one calling you daddy this Father's Day.
Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code FLATCAP at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code FLATCAP. There you are, everybody. Get that code FLATCAP, use it on manscaped.com, and feel free to grab the outlad, a nice little gift for the upcoming Father's Day. Like I said, Father's Day upcoming on the 19th. You have it on the 16th, I think, over in the UK. So it's not too late to use that code FLATCAP. Get 20% off plus free shipping. Be the best gift he's probably received from you in some time. But we are going to keep moving on, keep plowing on, and we are going to move on to a guest who's been coming on a lot frequently, and I'm looking forward to getting to know him each and every fan show. We have Elias. How are we doing, Elias?
Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm doing good.
You look a bit different, my man. You look very polished and everything. Like the hair, the facial hair, something has changed.
My hairs have grown really long. I am due on my haircut these days, so yeah, I have to really polish themselves and really get them together. No, I had a meeting just before coming here as well.
That makes sense. Then you're looking polished. You're looking very polished. Same thing like I did with Ben. I think you probably, if you have been able to listen at least somewhat, is there any of these, sort of kind of topics that I picked out today that kind of pop out to you?
Since we are talking about Father's Day, let's go into Sunny's father.
Yeah. I saw that you had something to say about that. So I'll read you aloud the quote that I picked out. There are plenty of quotes that he did have. But on his quotes about Sonny being world class, his dad said he must be able to play a solid role in one of the world's top clubs. That's when he'll become a world class player. Like I said, do you think it was mistranslation, or do you think it's just him being kind of just classic, really harsh on Sonny and really hard on him?
I think I was sharing in the private chat earlier. He's just being a typical Asian dad. The Asian dads can be sometimes like that, and I'll just share a picture of Sunny's family that he just recently shared on Instagram. You see Sunny and his mom taking a picture. They're both smiling, and then you see one side the dad. He's just like so grumpy. I just dropped the picture in the chat. You all can go and watch it. And yeah, it kind of tells that how the Asian dads can be. Even for a family picture, they won't smile. So yeah, jokes aside, I think it's an Asian thing. A lot of times, I think our parents kind of expect a lot. They like want you to continuously thrive, and they are very hard to please. One actually, honestly, the Asian dads are the one of the toughest one to please, and I think that's the case that I think Sunny is really going through right now. And also on the other hand, I feel the dad is being maybe just a bit humble.
He's trying to not make him brag. He doesn't want to brag about him. Basically, he doesn't want to be seen bragging about his own son, I guess is all it is.
Yeah. So in Asian culture, we it's not something that you likely go and brag about your son. Yeah, some people really do it, and when the people actually do it, they're kind of labeled as kind of like the braggers. So this is something more
it's
Asian, which actually maybe as somebody who live in kind of like a very Western society, it may sound weird. Like, your son just won a golden boot and you're saying he's not world class.
Yeah.
Man, he won the golden boot in not just any league. Like Premier League is one of the
best league out there as well.
Yeah, it's the best league out there. And then your father just said, he's not world class yet. It's
it's one of those things where you just can't even take him seriously. Like you just don't even with his dad, like you don't even want to read too much into it. Like you're not even taking it seriously. Yeah,
that's usual. So I mean, I won't take it seriously, but I guess actually it does play a big role even on Sunny as well. I'll just say that in Asian culture we have a very honor shame culture, I'll say. So I'm now a little bit worried now, even to honor his dad, would Sunny actually make a move to another club? Because his dad did make another remark that Sunny needs to move to a world-class club.
Yeah, that's the weird part. That is the weird part that he says.
That's the weird one. Like which club are you talking about and all that? And I think the dad is kind of expecting him to transfer. I really don't know on that end. I can't speak Korean, so I really don't know what the dad was trying to say. But that's a worrying sign that if the dad actually expect him to transfer, I think he might consider it being the Asian son. So that's the part I'm more worried about. And recently I was looking at some news as well that Park Ji-sung, he said that he would expect Sunny to do well in Man United because he wants him to replace Marcus Rashford there.
I think that'd be a step down for him at this stage. So probably, of course, I think Park Ji-sung would love him to go to Man United, but a bit too late. I think.
I mean, you're not even in Champions League.
A bit too late, maybe now. I think good answers, my man, on that. Good answers. But, I think we'll talk about, some other topics as well. We were just talking about earlier about Reguilón leaving. What are your thoughts on Reguilón? Is that someone that you've had a soft spot for? Someone you never really rated? What were your thoughts on him? Because it feels like he is going to be on his way out. And it's been a sort of an interesting kind of time that he's had here. It's not been bad. It's not been unbelievable. It's been kind of in the middle, you would say.
Actually, Reguilón, it's very hard to say what kind of season has he had, and how well we have seen him under Conte. You see, under Nuno, he was doing well. In fact, the first 3 or 4 games he had, I think he was in Fantasy Premier League. He was the top scorer for the first 3 games, I remember, and he had 1 assist and a couple of goals later on in the season as well. So he's not generally a bad player, and in the back 4 setup, he was really doing well. When Nuno came in, he was kind of hit with injuries, and then Nuno was trying to put in Dansignon as well. And I would say that when he has been on under Conte, he has performed, really. He has performed. If you look at the stats, in fact, after Trent Alexander-Arnold, he was one of those defenders, like he had the most passes in the box after Trent or Robertson. I can't remember. I read that stat somewhere. Like he had a lot of crosses within the box, and
He's
doing
one of the
well.
best creators under Nuno, like I believe as well. Like
Yeah, he was one of the best creators under Nuno as well. And then under Nuno, we were doing really well towards that left side. He had a good chemistry even with Sonny as well. But under Conte, I think we haven't seen much of him. But when we have had Reguilón under under Conte, he has performed. I mean, he scored a goal, and it was in that. I can't remember which game. One of them was the Leeds game, and the other one I can't remember. He scored a goal even, and like one of those games, he just came in, and then as a sub, he actually scored a goal. So I don't rate him as a player who has not had a good season or he has not had a good time under him, but I don't think he's the best of the wingbacks, really. He is not really best of the wingbacks, so we should replace him. But yeah, I do have a kind of like a soft spot for him, that if we can keep that guy and he can adapt to the wing back setup, because he is fast, he can make good runs, he can make good crosses, he can make good passes in the box. I guess it's just that he needs to get his head straight and know what he's doing, because sometimes he can be a bit more like of a headless chicken running around, especially towards when he's in the middle. But when he is either towards the back or towards the nearby the box, he really makes some really good passes and some really good moves. Yeah,
I really liked his move, to be fair. And what I really liked about Reguilón is I thought that he actually is pretty consistent, despite times that maybe he has let us down, maybe moments that he did kind of frustrate us. Under Jose, outright way better than Ben Davies, and I think we'd be probably thinking about that season a lot differently had we not had Reguilón under Jose. And under the Nuno days, Reguilón was still continuing on that good form. It's just the weird thing with Reguilón was the moment that he moved into that back five, that back three, the system that we thought he'd be great in, he didn't thrive in it. And that's what I think the strangest part about this situation is. My final kind of question on him is, like, Juventus seem to be the team that are linked with him. Does that sort of make sense to you, or do you think he would be headed elsewhere?
A bit hard to say, because Italian football is very defensive, as we all know. Rated highly towards the defensive. I think Reguilón is more of an attacking defender than the very Italian style defensive strength football. So I wouldn't see him going to Juventus. I don't think that move would work out. I would see him more going back to Madrid, Spain. Yeah. So
yeah, I can see that happening probably more often or more likely as well. I think you're right there. Do you have any thoughts on the Richarlison situation, my man? Is that someone that you see as an adequate backup? Is that too expensive? I mean, what's the first thought that comes to mind on this rumor?
Okay, if you would ask me this question like 2-3 days ago, I would say, yeah, I want Richarlison as first. But last night, or was it this morning, I woke up and then I saw the news that the amount of money involved for Richarlison is huge, like 70 to 75 million. That's like crazy amount of money. And when you consider like some of the recent transfers that took place for some class strikers, which you can compare Richarlison with, let's just say Dusan Vlahovic or even Erling Haaland. Actually, Haaland, does anybody know the exact number? How much did
I think it is 60 million, like what the Lloris clause is.
65 million, something like that.
Yeah.
So, like, why do you pay for Richarlison 70 to 75 million when the top strikers like Vlahovic and Haaland are not even going for that amount of money? That's crazy. I mean, we shouldn't go for that sort of move now. It's a lot of money. It's like half of your 150 million is going on Richarlison. And I don't think he's worth that much. If you pay like, let's say, something below 50, I might take him, but that's a lot of money. Yeah, and I don't think Levy will strike that kind of deal. So I'm not.
It seems extortionate, right? Does it seem like kind of extortionate to you, like just way too much to be even asking for Richarlison?
Yes, I feel that it's a bit too much asking for Richarlison, but
for even any team, like not just us. Like, I don't think any club would pay that much for him. If I'm going to be
honest. PSG might.
Yeah, maybe PSG.
One of those clubs who rely on the oil money, they might pay that crazy amount of money for that kind of player. But I don't see him coming to Spurs now after this kind of money involved. But we don't know how true that those news are, because nowadays every other tabloid got all sorts of news. So we really don't know how true it is.
Yeah, we don't really know how true it is. And to be fair, like, it kind of was only really reported by one real journalist that really broke the news on it, if I'm going to be honest. So, you know, perhaps there really isn't much substance to it. Anything I didn't ask you, you feel like maybe, Elias, you know, anything that, you know, you were kind of hoping, you know, to talk about before I let you go?
I'm actually a bit concerned about that Djed Spence deal, and then the next one is ERIKSEN deal. Recently, firstly the Djed Spence deal. We see that tomorrow we are going to submit a bid, and that deal is kind of like paused. I feel that you don't see anything happening there. The same old news is coming in. And again, one interesting thing I noticed recently was that nothing from Fabrizio again on that. Or maybe Fabrizio is just too busy with all the Italian transfers and the Spanish ones, and he's kind of light on the English football last 2-3 days. I don't know how true it is that we are submitting a bid, and I was reading one news that says that that they're asking for 25 million for Djed Spence, which I feel is a bit too much.
I think 20 million pounds is already, you know, getting a bit too much.
Yeah,
if it gets to 25, that's starting to get absurd. That's more than Emerson
15.
cost.
Yeah, Emerson was about 23, 22, 23.
I think he's 23 million euros. So I think
so if you consider
23 million euros, if Djed Spence is already 20 million pounds, he's already hovering around the same price as Emerson.
Already around there. So I don't think even for why you want to go for that small amount of money. In fact, I agree with Ben just now that he was saying that we could have gone for Dybala actually instead of this kind of deal. Like, that guy is a free transfer. Is a free transfer, right? Dybala is a free transfer, right?
Yeah.
So it's a free transfer, and then if you pay his wages and all that, in 1 year you are actually saving up on the money that you need to pay for the contract fee. So I actually feel that we missed on that. Now the second one is ERIKSEN. I think the ERIKSEN one might come in the next couple of days.
You think that's happening?
I think that would happen. Him rejecting the Brentford contract, I think it says a lot. I don't think he would go to Manchester United, because he has said it clearly. He wants to play Champions League football, and I think among the Champions League club, we are the only ones that are there. He has made it before. And one other thing that one interesting fact that ERIKSEN has said before, that he loves life in London, so he want to play for a London club. And that these are certain things that I feel that he may be settling with us.
The Man United rumor doesn't make sense if he wants to stay in London, if you ask me. And after he's rejected Brentford, maybe there really is only one club left for him, probably.
One other thing about ERIKSEN, I think, is he has family. I think kids go to school and all that, things like that. I assume, and he's kind of like the guy who really is concerned about the family and settling and all that. He doesn't like too much of transitions in the family life happening due to his career. And that was one of the reasons, even it was the family reasons, that he made a move out of Spurs last time, because he was worried about certain things, finances and all that. I saw that in All or Nothing, Tottenham Hotspur, that documentary. So perhaps if now the kids are already here, he wouldn't want the kids to now move to Manchester or things like that, and change schools again if they have already got taken admission in London school. So I think he will come to Spurs. It sounds more sensible, and I would want to see him back with us and winning trophies with us, because that guy has been loyal to us for many years. I mean, come on, some people say that he ditched us, that and all that. I mean, if somebody wants to move out once in a while, I mean, I also can say that, just give him some breathing space. Just give somebody some form of liberty to try something new, even if they're part of your family. There's nothing wrong with that. And if he's coming back, I would love to see him winning trophies with us, because he has been with us for years. And he's our number 23. If Bergwijn leaves, he will be our number 23 again.
All right, bring back the old one. Bring back the better and old number 23. Completely agree, my man. But Elias, absolute pleasure, brother. Really do appreciate you coming on.
Thanks.
Hopefully we can catch you Friday, and we'll have maybe that ERIKSEN transfer to be chatting about, that Djed Spence transfer to be chatting about.
Hopefully by then
we'll have
we will have one
better news to be discussing.
I say hopefully we would have one transfer to talk about that. Yeah, that's done deal.
Hopefully one at least, my man, because I'll be honest, it's sometimes a bit frustrating, to have, these really big weeks where you feel like there's so much happening all at once, and then the next week can just be absolutely dead. So hopefully this one
I totally agree
starts
with
off
you.
the right
In
way.
fact, on a funny note, recently I have a group with some of Spurs fans. They would post certain posts and Twitter posts and all that, and I was like, oh, okay, got transferred. Then I opened the post. It's like, happy birthday, Sean Chase. So yeah, I've been waiting for transfers, really. Okay, see you on Friday.
I'll catch you, Elias. I'll catch you very soon, my man. Thanks for coming on. Everybody, big up Elias in the comments. Absolute pleasure always speaking with him. He's done really, really well ever since he's come, and he's becoming a real regular. So show him the support that he deserves. But everybody, since it is just me, you know me, I like to get through everybody. I like to get through all the people. We want everybody to have their say. We want to get to as many people as possible. So we are going to just keep going on. And we are going to bring on Michael, our man all the way out in Poland. Michael, I must say, before you even say anything, just the other day, actually, out in Brooklyn, there was even a Polish...
Just give me a second, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Sorry, my girlfriend wanted something. Yeah. Can you hear me?
I was just going to say, my man, just the other day, actually, in Brooklyn, there was a Polish kid that asked me for directions, my man, on with the subway. So I helped him out. Apparently, he was an hour and a half away from Warsaw, so seemed to be very, very far away from what I knew in Poland. Yeah. But just made me think of you for a brief second. Made me think of the Harris Army. But any of these, kind of topics that, kind of interested you, what we've been talking about, Jed Spence, Richarlison, ERIKSEN rejecting Brentford, Reguilón, anything that's caught your eye here?
First thing is that, the figures that are being talked about, like, 60 plus million for Richarlison, 20 plus for Djed Spence, and all that jazz. I think that clubs are trying to rinse us out because they know that we have money, and I'm just a bit worried about all of this because, I wouldn't mind both Spence and Richarlison, but not for that money. That's too much in my opinion. I get that Spence is an up and coming star or whatever, even though his numbers and his performances don't necessarily prove that it's true. But 20 million pounds for a guy like him, too much in my opinion. Same thing with Richarlison. Like as previous callers said, I wouldn't mind us giving them wings and 20 to 30 million. That's fine for me. But 60 is way too much for me. The thing is also that people are saying that it would waste nearly half of our transfer budget, but we don't know what our transfer budget is. Because that 150 million got injected into the club, but it wasn't stated anywhere that it's all going on transfers. So do
you think with the Richarlison one, is that them knowing that they can ask that much from us, or do you think that's how much they're going to be asking everyone for Richarlison?
I feel like of course I don't know for a fact, but I feel like it's that's statement price that they want to put out there, so that even though that they set the ceiling high, and then they can go they can go down with their pricing, when they are bargaining with the club. So for example, they say we want 60, we will say we can give you 40, and we can meet somewhere in the middle and get 50. And I feel like, of course I don't know, but I feel like they don't expect to get 60 for him. I mean, they would be mad to expect 60 for him, because there are plenty of other players that are of higher quality, and they don't go for as much. And it's not even that he has English tax on his head, because if you are talking about 60 for James Ward-Prowse or Madison, you are buying a homegrown player, which is key for many clubs.
It's not even that. It's not even that included as well. Yeah.
So that price is way too high for me. Of course, if club decides,
what do you think of Richarlison then? Because Chris was saying that he thinks the price is way too big. Do you feel like, regardless of the price, do you like Richarlison? Do you think that's the right sort of player to go after?
Skill-wise, I'm perfectly fine with him being in the team. I feel like I really like the profile of the player that he represents. Same thing that we, because we are linked with Rashford last week.
Yeah.
It was just a brief article, but what I said, I think I was talking with Bobspur. I said that I like the profile of the player because he's a player that can cover all three positions if the need comes, right? And I feel like Richarlison can at least cover the left wing and the striker position.
That's what we want.
So he's a really quality backup for our two main stars. The thing is, they would have to convince him to be a backup pretty much, right? Or he would have to displace Kulu, which I necessarily wouldn't be a fan of. Just because I feel like every time I watch Kulu, even now when he's playing with Sweden and Sweden isn't performing well, Kulu is outstanding in those matches, and he's constantly dribbling past players, and I just feel like we shouldn't bench him necessarily. So the profile player I really like. I just feel like the price is way too much, and I feel like there are other players of his quality, of his standard that we can get for a lower price from other leagues. And it doesn't have to be Richarlison from Everton, right?
Yeah.
So as I said, nothing against the player.
But you said Djed Spence was also one that you thought maybe they're asking a bit too much for, and you think it's a similar kind of trend.
Yeah,
a similar pattern, of maybe clubs asking too much or knowing that Spurs have enough money that they can ask more.
I'm not convinced by Spence, and it's not that I wouldn't welcome him into the team, right? But I feel like what we need right now is a really experienced right wing back. And the thing is, if you want Doherty to be that, then I'm not super happy about this, but I can live with it, right? But what I would honestly prefer is for us to sell both Doherty and Emerson and to replace them with some experienced right wing back and Djed Spence, and then it would be perfect for me. The only name that comes to my mind is Mele right now. I just watched Denmark in addition, right? And I feel like, but I don't want to mistake it, but I feel like Bayern have it's not Bayern. I think it's RB Leipzig have a right back that plays right wing back for them.
Mukiele?
Mukiele, right. And I feel like he is also quality, and he could possibly fit that role.
He could be interesting, actually, because he's like a really defensive sort of wing back. And what's interesting about him is I feel like he's better than Emerson in the case that he's really defensive like Emerson is, but he's just better on the ball than Emerson is. Yeah. So he's able to not be as useless in that sort of regard. But he's still more of a defensive sort of wing back at the end of the day. So you kind of makes you think if we were to go after Mukiele, what does that mean for how, what sort of wing backs Conte wants? Maybe he wants one that's super defensive, one that's good going forward. It's interesting. Just a quick question, because the fact that Reguilón, we were talking about maybe leaving, you're saying you want to maybe get rid of Doherty and Emerson. There are all these new kind of rumors that Spurs are still looking at left wing backs, and there are kind of all these new, wing back rumors still coming about. Do you feel like we are going to still go after, someone else after, let's say we get Djed Spence and we already have Perisic? Do you still think we're going to get another wing back through the door?
I wish we did, but I don't think we will.
Yeah, I'm the same boat. I think we won't, but I want us to. Yeah, I don't think we will, but
because we don't know that yet, but it all depends on what role we see for Perisic. Because interplay because we play 3-4-3, but it's more like a 5-2-3 because our wing backs drop a bit deeper, and I feel like they played 3-5-2. So Perisic and Hakimi, when Conte was there, were playing more like left and right
more attacking
midfielder.
Anyways.
A lot more attacking. And we know that Perisic can fill the left wing role, right? So, I don't know what vision we have for Perisic, but that I am in love with Kostic, and I would be so happy if we got him. But I don't think we will, and I feel like with Perisic and Sessegnon, our club thinks that the left wing is sorted, and I'm happy with that. It's not to say that those two names aren't making me happy, right? I just feel like
that then Djed Spence and maybe Doherty on the other side. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, as I said, that I wouldn't be like necessarily too happy, but I would be okay with it if we fixed other problems of the squad, right? So I feel like Doherty proved that he can be that attacking wingback, that quality. He brings that quality in the final third. I feel like Djed Spence, even though he didn't necessarily get a lot of assists, there is a lot of, like, you know, it's only compilations, but apparently he takes on players really well, right? So that's kind of an upgrade on what we have currently on the right wing back position, right? Same with left. Perisic's quality, Sessegnon can learn from him. I'm just hoping that injuries won't destroy him in the next season, like they did this season, right? And you know, if we stayed with those 4 players on the wing backs, I want us to spend big on the center back, on the center midfielder, on a final third player, right? Because, well, generally speaking, I just want something to happen, like, because, you know, there is all that talk and nothing is happening right now. The 3 names that we are like,
have we grown quickly? Have we grown impatient because we started off with like a bang? You know, like the moment that the season ended, Spurs just start signing players. Do you think we've now sort of, you know, expected us to like move quickly, and the moment that there's sort of a lull, you know, we kind of get a bit impatient,
you know,
which I think we rightfully should get impatient.
The reason why I'm getting impatient is just because Conte said that he wants players in before preseason, right? And preseason starts at the beginning of July, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, we have just half a month left, pretty much, a bit more than half a month, right? So, you know, I want something to start happening so that Conte is satisfied. And
yeah, so
of course, I will be satisfied too, right? But
I think you're right.
But, you know,
we know, because we want Conte by the first stage of preseason. You want Conte's like first expectation
to have his players, right?
Yeah, to have his players.
You know, just the thing that the 3 names that the most noise is like circling about are ERIKSEN, Djed Spence, and well, right now Richarlison, right? And I'm not necessarily. I see why we are going for them, if we are going for them, right? As I said, I would welcome Richarlison, Djed Spence, and even ERIKSEN, right? But those are not the names that necessarily excite me, and those are not the names that I would like treat as a solution to our problems, right?
Same boat.
I would love ERIKSEN to be back, but I want us to sign another midfielder. Like, I want us to sign a first team quality midfielder, and for ERIKSEN to provide that, you know, attacking midfield option, right? That we don't have right now. But it would be preferable if we had, like, you know, Skip, Højbjerg, Bentancur, ERIKSEN, and someone else in our team, so that we have the ability to shift to different formations, so that we have an ability to, like, you know, pressure our opponents even more, right? When the need comes, right? And same thing with Richarlison. I think that there are other players that I would be more happy about us getting. If we get Richarlison, I wouldn't be mad. It's just not something that, it's not someone that, you know, really that you know that you get that tingle. Well,
yeah, I know what you mean.
I know happiness.
What you mean, because I know what you mean by that tingle. Because the tingle I would get if we brought in Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, that would be the big tingle for me.
Yeah.
But maybe last question here for you, Michael. I was, you know, talking about, you know, maybe when I was talking to that Polish kid the other day while giving him directions, and I did say, you know, I asked him about Zielinski. He didn't seem maybe to be the biggest football fan because he didn't seem to know who Zielinski was. But Zielinski, do you feel like he's a creative midfielder that, like, we're not sort of talking about, that maybe we should be as Spurs fans? Because, of course, you know, like, whoever we're linked with is whoever we're linked with. But sometimes when we talk about who do we want to bring in as a creative midfielder, do you feel like Zielinski should be brought up more? Do you rate the guy?
Because, you know, we spoke about it once when I
think we spoke about a long time ago, a few months ago.
When I was talking about him in our national team, right? And you know, just when I said that, actually he played a really good match against Netherlands, and you know, we got battered by Belgium, but then nothing worked in that game. So I don't blame Zielinski for that game, but against, I feel like.
Is he like a different, because we say, like I said before, right? Christian Eriksen, I'd take him, but I think there are other players out there that are available that are similar that could be a bit better for this sort of team. I think Zielinski, do you think he could fit that bill? Like someone that you would take over like an ERIKSEN?
Yes, I would, and that's not Polish bias. Of course, I would love him in our team, but it's not because of the nationality of a player. I just feel like, because let me elaborate on it a bit, because we in our Polish national team we have only like a few players that are of like higher quality. Of course, it's like Lewandowski, Zieliński. It used to be like 5 to 6 years ago we had a lot better team, right? And right now we try to bring a lot of youngsters, and those youngsters aren't necessarily of like Polish Polish football school of thought. So one of them is Nikola Zalewski from Roma. He's like 19 or 20 years old kid.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Jose
Mourinho
loves
really rates him, right? And we have Mati Cash on the right back position right now, who was like grew up in England, and he has that English school of football, right? And those two, when they played near Zieliński, they completely unlocked him. Like he felt a lot more passion, and he was a lot more like
more comfortable.
Yeah, he looked more comfortable. He wasn't so stiff about, because when you know that you don't have quality near you, you won't try those like advanced passes. You won't try to dribble past players, because as soon as you lose the ball, There's are screwed, right? And I feel like if Zieliński came to our team, we have a lot of quality in positions around the pitch, right? And I feel like it could unlock him a bit, so that he possibly could provide a lot of quality in dribbling past players and providing that really nice pass. But as I said, I would welcome him with open arms, and I would be buzzing that we have a Polish player in the team. But if we don't go for him, I won't be getting down over it.
Okay. Good to get. I like that you gave me your opinion on him. I appreciate it. Because he is somebody.
Actually, speaking of
we
Polish
should talk
players,
about a bit more.
Speaking of Polish players, I would love Mati Cash in our team. I just feel
to be fair, like he is sort of a right wing back anyways, so he'd be interesting. That is a good point.
He showed so much quality in this season, and I feel that also in our national team you can see the clear difference between, of course the standard of the player in our team in our national team is a lot lower than Mati Cash, but you can just see like he smiles ahead of our players. And that's to add that we always had problems with left and right wing backs as soon as
just you lacked quality there.
As soon as Piszczek retired from national team.
I was gonna say.
And you can just see that we have pretty much fixed our problem there. We still need to fix the left back position, but I'm impressed with him. I'm impressed with his crosses. I'm impressed with his dribbling. He also has a nasty shot on him, like he scored against Netherlands in the game a few days ago. And if you remember the match against Villa that we played, and in the end we won 4-0, and of course he injured Doherty, so maybe it's not such a good match to bring back, but he had like 2 or 3 like really dangerous shots from outside the box and from like 16 yards distance that Lloris had to really like sweat to save. And I feel like I'm really impressed with him. And this time it is Polish bias. I would love him just because I'm impressed with him. I'm happy that he chose our national team over England. And
I'm happy for you, man. I'm happy for you. Get a bit of Mati Cash in there. It's exactly what you guys needed, and a good replacement for Lukasz Piszczek, of course. But Michael, absolute pleasure, my man, and really do appreciate you coming on. I think you covered the topics very, very well. Just like Ben, the time really flew by. I always like to say, just in case, though, is there any, final thing that maybe you feel like I didn't ask you, because I know we at one stage were talking about the Polish national team for a little bit. So anything Spurs wise that maybe you feel like I might have missed, or, maybe next time?
Like speaking of our players from our nationality, I don't think the problem is that I see a lot of young talent in our team, but it's not something that I want in our team right now, right? I think that if Nikola Zalewski played under Conte and he was given time to develop under like such a world-class coach like he is getting right now in Roma, right? I feel like there is a player there but I don't want us to bring like a 19-year-old soon to be star maybe. I want us to bring quality right now. I want those statement names. As I said, they don't have to be like 80 million signing per position. I just want someone to come and reinvigorate this team, give us options, give us like something new, right? I don't want us to bring to sell Lucas and bring someone of exactly the same quality, like, you know, short Brazilian that can dribble and can't pass, right? That's not the solution for our team. We need someone like Kulusevski, right? He came in and he completely revolutionized how we played. So I feel like we should go for players of a different type than we have already in our team.
Absolutely.
And that's my ending statement.
Completely agree with you, Michael. Completely agree. Way to finish it off there, my man. Everybody, big up Michael in the comments. He's been a real regular. He's given us the wisdom. He's given us his thoughts and everything throughout the summer. Hopefully we'll catch you on more, Michael. Fridays, just quickly before you go, do Fridays work for you, you know, for those kind of transfer streams? Or
yeah, I will definitely be on this week. I just couldn't make it last week because I had an exam.
Just making sure, because I just want to ask people in case it does, you know, work for most people, because at the end of the day, if it doesn't work for most people, then we'll just find a different day, you know, to do it.
You know, I had an exam starting at it was 5 p.m. here, so it was I feel like 4 p.m. Ireland time. So you guys were already starting at that moment, and before I finished and came back to the flat, you actually finished like literally 5 minutes before I got to the flat. So I wanted to come on, but I couldn't. But you know, I will try to be
next time.
I will try to be on this Friday.
Love that. Well, there you are, everybody. We'll see Michael Friday. Thank you very much, Michael, for popping on and giving your thoughts on everything. Everybody, big up Michael in the comments. Deserves the support. See you very soon, Michael.
Big up, guys. See you.
Catch you, Michael. Oh, you had to say something? Oh, well, never mind. He popped up. Thought I cut him off there. I don't want to be rude, but everybody, big up Michael in the comments. Show him the support that he deserves all the way out in Poland. But we're going to keep going, everybody, and we're bringing on a special guest. This is almost like bringing in a closer here. I'm looking in for this one. Bringing on the Daigle. How are we doing, Brian?
I'm doing very, very good, Jack, brother. How are you and everyone in the chat?
This is almost like bringing on Richarlison at the 80th minute, I must say, in fact. But maybe you are worth 70 million and he's maybe not worth 70 million.
well, he certainly isn't. He certainly isn't.
Do you want to start there? Is there or maybe
I think don't get me wrong. I think he could be a good player for us. I think he's got some attributes that we could deal with. He ain't 70 million pounds,
though, right? It's just extortionate from Everton,
mate. You've seen people talk about Kane was going for that kind of money, or was rumoured with Man City. Haaland has just signed for City. All right, there was a release
went for that much.
Right, exactly. I mean, the money. The thing I will say, it was great. That announcement from the club was great, saying, "Yup, to the fans like me and everyone, yup, we're putting money into the club. We've got money. The money's there." But now that the money's there, these stupid valuations are coming out for players. It's like, oh, Tottenham just announced they've got money. Let's rumour whether there's actually weight to this rumour. It's like, right,
we say 40 million? Yeah, sorry, 400.
Yeah,
is what we meant.
Exactly. And there's a lot of talk about Winks maybe going in the other direction. What people have got to remember, Winks could say, no, I don't want to go to Everton. And that's that done. He's under no obligation to go. If he doesn't want to go to Everton and maybe be in the financial crisis they are and relegation struggles, why is he going to want to go? When he's rumoured that Newcastle want him as well, when they're complete night and day in their financial and where their kind of journey is at the moment. So Richarlison, no way.
Do you think it's just like Everton just, you know, valuing him that high? Or do you think it's kind of like what Michael was just saying? Like people are like, you know, seeing Spurs and they're just going to give Spurs a different price than maybe the next person.
They might do, but you've also got to remember Everton are like Inter Milan right now. They need money. They have to sell because of their financial fair play and their accounts being an absolute mess. So I can understand certain teams doing that when they haven't got any financial issues to worry about. But if Everton need money and one of their star assets are Richarlison, you can't go quoting stupid money like that. I just think if we signed him for that fee, it's ridiculous. absolutely ridiculous. In all honesty, if the price comes down, yeah, I'll be open to it. Would I rather a Belotti? Would I rather a Zeus? 1 billion%.
Yeah,
but that money does not represent good value for money.
But what's kind of funny about it is that it's the backup striker that we've all been looking for. And if I'll be honest, I think Richarlison is a perfect sort of candidate for that quality backup striker that we're all looking for. It just happens to be that for once, when we are looking for a quality backup striker, the right time that we do it, well, it's 70 million seems to be the asking fee. Just our luck, I must say. I don't know where to bounce from here. I know you've seen a lot of the topics. ERIKSEN, is that somebody that you would take? Is that what are your thoughts on this situation? Because if you ask me, Brian, I would take him if Conte really wants him. But it's one of those positions that I actually think there's a lot out there on the market that's available, which kind of makes me think you don't need to then go back to what you know if there's a lot out there. So
I've gone from being staunch, I don't want him at all, to being kind of, it's starting to waver a little towards okay, maybe, but I think going back is never a good thing. I keep saying about us being sentimental as fans. This has got sentimentality written all over it. But then you look at it and you think, right, he's on a free. If we do play a 3, then he'll be perfect. But if we don't play a 3, he can't play in a 2 because he goes wandering or goes missing. I don't think his wages will be excruciatingly high. And they with ERIKSEN, they can even ladder it with bonuses as well. Give him a flat basic, because if we are going to play a 3 in midfield, he'll start. But if we play a 2, he probably won't. And then have it on appearance fees, assists, set pieces, whatever.
Kind of like the Bale, the pay as you play. A bit of a pay as you play.
Kind of like that, but maybe a little bit more highly structured than that. But again, this comes down to, like you said, Jack, if Conte wants to bring him back in and thinks he can do something, then who am I to say no, don't go? And on a free, but this is kind of, I saw a good friend of mine, Neil Shaffron, say it as well. People say be patient. That I am starting to worry. And the reason I've started to worry, not just because it's me and I'm just waiting for this to screw up. What we've done is we've known left back got sorted out immediately. Fantastic, wicked. We're making big time. Goalkeeper sorted out immediately. Brilliant. Right wing back is where we need issues. Big time. If you look at it, we haven't replaced Kyle Walker. That's how long this right back position or right wing back has been waiting to be filled.
No one can even hold a flame to the guy. No one can even hold, a candle.
Is Djed Spence the one to put that to bed? No, I think it's got potential over quality written all over it once again. And we know where that goes. And then we've gone from Bastoni. Now, listen, if Bastoni doesn't want to come because he wants to stay at Inter, that's no fault of the club. It doesn't matter what the club do.
I wish we pushed a little harder, though, Brian. I wish we threw...
what I'd like to see is we made an official bid and go, here you go. Here's some money.
We did. I think we threw in the bare minimum that they asked, which is kind of the frustrating point, is that if we had thrown in 70 million, which I think would have been well over what they were asking for, but was the original price from 6 months ago. I think that's what they were asking for 6 months ago. And had we maybe thrown in 70 million euros, I feel like that would have been one of those where they would have just been well, I don't know, guys, I think we got to take this. I think we got to take this. Shut money down their mouth, sort of scenario. Yeah. That
they could have done, Jam. What I'm trying to get at is if the player says, I want to stay at Inter, I'm happy, it doesn't matter what you offer them.
I guess
they'll be like, no. So if that falls through like that, you can't, even I can't sit down and blame. That's the guy being loyal to his club, which I appreciate. Loyalty is the most important thing in my life. Forget football in my life. So I can appreciate that from Bastoni. But what I don't get is now we've been told that we might be able to get him if Inter don't sell anyone by the end of the month.
Situation.
And then it's so wait a minute, you're dragging out one of the key issues, then it becomes Pau Torres with the obvious Lo Celso thing. Nothing on that. Then Friday, it was Djed Spence in advanced talks. It looked like the right back and the left centre back. Now it's Richarlison. When we know the main issues to sort out is right wing back, and get sorted the centre back. The defence is the biggest issue we need to address, and we're going all over the place again. Now, a lot of people could say that's Paratici and that's what he does. but I've seen this for a very, very long time with a certain person. Not saying I'm not, like I said, I'm not going in on him hard until pre-season starts. No. But it starts.
We've seen this movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at. You know, it could be like Neil said, the window's just opened, deals will start getting done, but it's just, again, we're haphazard all over the place. It's just what that's the bit that's concerning me. That's the bit that's concerning me.
It is the bit that's concerning me too. The bottom Duda saying, if we have 70 million to spend on a striker, the only player we should go after is Lautaro Martinez. He is the best striker available now who can play across the front three. He drops deep to defend and is a winner too. I think this is the point that bottom Duda, I think you're right, because that's the point I think that Ben Kaufman was sort of trying to say, was like, if you're like listening to 70 million for Richarlison, might as well just spend the extra 9 million just to get in Sergei Milinkovic-Savic, somebody that you need more, someone that also is probably a position that needs filling in like a quality sort of kind of way more, and isn't really, you know, I don't know, just 70 million to bottom Duda doesn't seem like second striker, backup striker sort of money, unless Lautaro Martinez or Richarlison are going to be players that are going to maybe displace Kulusevski, displace Sonny, because I know everybody likes to say that they're all going to get, you know, competitive, you know, kind of fair amount of game time. I just don't really think that's true, because at the end of the day, when you play a 5 in the back sort of system, that means one less player is in the attack, one less player is in the midfield. It's one or the other. And you're going to have to accept that there will be a player that normally would be in the team, normally would be in the 11, is actually on the bench. And it's just because that's how the 3 in the back and the 5 in the back works. And so if you ask me, when you bring in someone like a Richarlison or Lautaro Martinez, maybe that guarantees that you are probably changing up the system a little bit. But if you ask me, to bottom Duda, Lautaro Martinez, I know people really like him. I really like him. I've liked him ever since he's come into Inter Milan, to be fair. And it's nice to see that he's actually matching the potential that he originally came there for when he went there when he was like 19. But I'm not sure if he's worth 70 million. I know for certain that Richarlison is not worth 70 million. As much as I like Richarlison, I don't think he's anywhere close to that. And I just don't really know if really there's like if the attacking position, like if we're getting another position for that front three, I just don't really feel like that's the one you spend 70 million on. I think there are other positions that you spend 70 million on. The front three, you know, to add to the, you know, to the front three, to the firepower. I just don't really know if that's the one you spend 70 million on. I could be wrong. And I think you could, you know, probably convince me that maybe you could look at it a different way. But Lautaro Martinez, as much as I think he probably is worth that 70 million, I just don't know. I just don't really think he's somebody that Spurs should take a gamble. I don't know if it's even a gamble. I just don't even think Spurs should spend that much money on him or Richarlison or really anybody near that price. I think they should be looking at backup strikers for around 10 to 30 million, if you ask me. I think we should be looking at the Emmanuel Dennises of the world. But to bottom Duda also saying Lautaro is better than Vlahovic, and we missed that train in January. He signed 6 months back and will cost way more. This is actually a good point, actually, to be fair, that we did miss the boat on Vlahovic, and he could have been somebody that could have changed this team. And Lautaro Martinez is a similar situation. Brian, just so that we get a different opinion here for bottom Duda, what do you think? Like, I've been very, you know, I was talking about not spending the money. Do you feel like maybe he raises a good point here that we did miss the boat on Vlahovic? Do you not want to miss the boat maybe on Martinez?
Well, you can also have within we missed the boat with Skriniar. There's a lot of plays, but I'm just, if you look at Inter now, that's Perisic that we've taken, Bastoni, Skriniar, Martinez. Now, there's no way in a month of Sundays are all 3 or 2 or even De Vrij. There's a fourth one.
We signed the tea lady as well from them.
Yeah, you know what I mean. There's no way Inter need the money, but there's no way you've got. If you look at that priority-wise in the players that we need out of that 4, I'm picking Bastoni. I'm picking Bastoni just because that defense needs sorting out. Because if we sort that defense out with the front 3 we have, yes, they need competition. Yes, they need to refresh, but that front 3 are dynamite. We've seen what they can do since January. The defense have got better and better and better. But if we have a front 3 that matches the back 3, holy shit, are we onto something special? So. It just comes to the point who comes in, and there's no way Inter are selling us more than one other player like for cash. It's going to be the two that are talked about, Bastoni and three, Bastoni, De Vrij, and Martinez. And
it is feeling a bit crazy how much of an Inter raid is sort of happening for us in our case. Like
exactly. It was bound to happen with Conte, wasn't it? It was bound to. I mean, it was Skriniar and Martinez before Conte, and now it's De Vrij and Bastoni with. So it's kind of it was always
with the whole starting 11. I think at this stage,
exactly
with the whole starting 11.
Exactly. So it becomes a tough thing to think of. Do I like Martinez? Yeah, I think he could be absolutely outstanding. But we're going to have to see which one we actually go for instance. But also, I heard another thing and I know there's an easy fix around it, but Martinez actually has opened up his own restaurant in Milan and bought property.
Ben told me.
So apparently, with that, there are very, very, very strict laws as into ownerships of property if you live in only if you're living in Milan kind of thing. So that could have been a signal that he's putting roots down, that he's not going anywhere. So I mean, obviously, if a deal comes off, not just for us, for any team with Martinez, he could just change the name into a family member or whatever, and I'm sure that takes care of that. But yeah, I think we had our chance with Martinez last season, and that was when we said, "Oh no, Chelsea, you go buy the Lukaku and make your team nice and stronger, and we'll just keep this money here." I think we've missed the boat on that one.
I think we did, and Debottom Duda seems to feel similar about it. And I would say, though, Debottom Duda, a bit of a flat cap Euro moment. Let me know what you think of this hot take. Lautaro Martinez, I actually think, is better at finishing harder chances than he is at finishing easy chances. Whenever I've watched him, I've seen him finish the most spectacular goals in certain moments that I thought no one would be able to finish. And then I've seen him miss kind of almost like Sterling, sort of like sitters in certain moments as well. So let me know what you think of that hot take, Debottom Duda, but don't kill me for it. It's just my opinion on the guy. I like Lautaro Martinez, but that's how much I think he is a crazy player, is that he makes the easy stuff look hard and he makes the hard stuff look easy. He's that sort of player, but really do appreciate support, my man. Absolutely massive donation. But Brian, I feel like, we took a long time on that, sort of super chat there that I thought was a great talking point. I mean, let's be honest. Before we, plug Tottenham on tour and all that stuff, I feel like there's probably a topic that maybe you wanted to address or something like that.
No, not really. I've just been a busy day.
You have another one to choose from? I mean, A, B, C, or D.
I haven't
Sonny's dad's
I haven't
quotes.
Seen that.
You have
this one.
Djed, Spence, you have Charleston, ERIKSEN, Reguilón.
Let's stick with this one.
Love it.
I will pack his bags and give him a piggyback to the airport for him to go. I really will. And
he let you down. I remember he let you down at the end. Yeah.
Joe, it's not that he let me. Again, this goes back to the club, the management, and it's not me. Again,
I know. I meant to say when at the West Ham game when he did that big dive. I remember you said like that was a moment where you really.
But this is it. Well, what it is as well. You got to remember, we bought him as a left back to play as under Jose. And then we bring in a manager. All right, it's Conte. And he's a huge, but we now have a player or a manager.
He would do well in it, though. That was the weird part. Is we all thought he would do well.
To tell you, when Conte came, I was asked the question on We Are Tottenham TV: who do you think would be the most or benefit the most from Conte? And I said Reguilón. I thought right now
we all said that.
Now you're going to see Reguilón go, and he just can't do it. He is so inconsistent. He going forward. When he came, you saw this pace where he got away from everyone so quickly. Now you don't see him getting away from anyone.
Yeah.
His crossing that was sensational when he came has become woeful.
Hard to remember.
And you know what? I'm sure he'll go to another club and do well. I'm sure he will. But get him out, get him gone, and get someone else in, or you got Perisic, you got Sessegnon, and you go from there. But it's time for Reguilón. What we've got to remember as well, why I say this as well, we have spent so many years of just keeping deadwood. People aren't fit for purpose, and just keeping them and keeping them and keeping them, and then they're just a drain on money, a drain on gone. Bye bye. See you later. Ta-da.
It's nice to see though that I guess we're getting rid of him as soon as we feel like we don't have use for him. Whereas other players that wasn't the case. When we didn't have use for them, we kept them around. But with Reguilón, the moment that we don't see use in him, he's gone.
Let's hope so. I mean, like I said, I wish him well in everything he does. I think he's just not going to fit into a Conte system. He's got someone that he knows will win Perisic, who is an absolute machine, a robot. He's like Højbjerg, hardly gets injured. And then Sessegnon can learn from him, or if so, bring in another person if need be. But again, the most important thing is Conte has his style of players that knows his way of playing, that know his what his training is all about, and those are the players we need in immediately. Before it is so important that they all come in before, or a majority before pre-season, and at the latest before career. Because if they don't come before then, they're not going to get the full benefit of a Conte pre-season. They're not going to be on the same level as the team, and then we're on the back foot immediately. So hopefully Reguilón will be out the door soon. Bergwijn could be out the door very soon. And then let's just hope. But like I said, right now it's 2 free transfers. A right wing back that we got told that was in advanced stages on Friday, and here we are. End of Monday.
I feel a bit embarrassed about that one. The Guardian led me astray there. The Guardian led me astray.
Exactly. That's the thing. 72 hours.
Even a reputable newspaper, like the opposite of the Sun, the opposite of the Mirror, even the freaking Guardian, all of a sudden led me astray.
Exactly, Jack. This is what it's becoming. This is. Don't get me wrong. We are going to have a lot of this over the summer because of the money that was injected, whatever. But Tottenham have got to start showing their cards because they're back to pre-season. Where are we now? In 17 days or 18, they're back just over under 3 weeks. Just under 3 weeks, they are back in pre-season training. Yeah. And a month, I think it's a month today, they fly to Korea, or the 16th.
July 30th. He needs
so
his players.
We got 4 weeks where we need players in and quick. Yeah. None of this mucking around.
And he wants them in, and he made no secret of it. He wants them in by that stage, Brian. And
exactly. The thing is as well, I'm hoping it's got the ring of it now. The way this is going, if we're waiting for players to go out before players come in again, then this just smacks of one man and one man only. But like I said, I'm going easy on him until pre-season training starts.
Yeah.
And if things are still the way they are by pre-season, I think you'll know where I'll be.
I think, honestly, that's a good way to go about it, because if Conte's not happy, like the first thing Conte asked for was for this to be done by the time that he's ready for preseason. If that doesn't happen, I think we're all welcome to have free reign, Brian. I think you're spot on. Tell me, though, a bit about Tottenham on tour. The summer is happening. I know Daigle's Digest is in full flow. I saw that you guys had a recent live stream. What's going on, my man? I mean, tell us about
that. We have quite a bit going on. Brian Ireland's quite busy at the moment because work is getting very, very busy for him. Obviously, I'm here, so time difference. There will be a few things coming for us. We've got big plans for the summer and next season. But most importantly, just to let everyone know, obviously, there was a certain wedding yesterday that I attended, Ben and Ashley's, which was just incredible. And Ben is taking a 2-week break. And guess who is going to be in the studio every single day with Simeon for the next 2 weeks?
Nice. Well done.
Tottenham, We Are Tottenham on Tour is back. Me and Simeon will be in the studios. I think Simeon wants to do a live stream tomorrow. We're going to be in the studio for midday UK time, so 7 a.m. Eastern time. But yeah, for the next 2 weeks, you will find Brian Daigle on We Are Tottenham TV, as well as
find him. You won't miss him.
Will be coming up from us.
You won't miss him. I can tell you that.
Exactly.
You won't miss him. There you go.
Exactly. So that's where you can find me. But obviously, it's been great seeing you again, Jack, and spending some time with the Harris Army.
Love that.
And I hope everyone has a wonderful evening. And we will speak very, very soon.
We'll speak very, very soon, Brian. Thank you for coming on.
See you later
Thank
on,
you for
people.
giving up your time. Thank you for making the fan show. Thank you for just being Daigle. Thank you for being Daigle. We'll see you very soon. And we'll see you on Tom. We'll see you on Weird Tom TV.
Yeah,
I'll be seeing your bloody face tomorrow, my man. I'll be seeing your face tomorrow on the screen.
I'll see you later on, people. Bye.
Catch you, Daigle. Everybody, wish Daigle a good night, and also show him the support on Tottenham on Tour. He's going to be all over YouTube this week over on We Are Tottenham TV. Everybody's going to be all over it. We have a super chat in here from Rob Coyne. Just make sure, let me get to it. Rob Coyne, I've been looking forward to this one. And he's saying, lads, Dave must still be crying. The 3-4-1-2, Hugo, Spence, Perisic, Torres, Cudi Romero, Dyer, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Kane, Son, and Richarlison up top. We should have signed him from Watford. Rob, so much to break down here. I think the first thing we're just going to have to address is that Kildare Mayo game, my man. Honestly, I don't really know much about, Gaelic football, but from what I could tell was that Kildare absolutely bottled it, Rob. I just had it. They looked like they were up the whole time. It looked quite easy for them. In fact, it looked like Mayo even didn't really look like they were showing up. It looked pretty easy for Kildare. All of a sudden, when I was watching the highlights, Kildare just bottled it. Like, it just seems like they were just letting Mayo do whatever they wanted out there. I just don't even know, Rob. It just looked like I was so surprised that you said that Mayo won, because when I was watching the highlights, it looked like Kildare was going to be the team that won. So clearly Dave and the Kildare County boys over there, they're just going to need to, figure out that, they have to play a full game of football. They can't just, expect that the results just going to come their way. They didn't play the full game, my man. It was quite strange, honestly, quite bottle jobs over there. But in the case of your lineup, with Richarlison, honestly, I've really liked Richarlison since he's been at Watford as well. I think that was that Marco Silva kind of team over at Watford back in the day, Rob. And I really liked him. I think he was like 19 or something at the time when he was over at Watford. And he was an absolute unit, I remember. And seeing his debut, him coming off the bench, I was shocked that this guy was like a 19-year-old at the time, Richarlison. He's been playing for pretty garbage teams, let's be honest, the majority of his career. I think he deserves that move up. I don't think he's in any case deserving of a starting position in a top team, but I think he deserves a spot in a top team, whether that be a backup spot or, a sort of proliferary, kind of starting spot. I just feel like he deserves something, a bit better than what he's been given. So, Rob, you and I seem to be Richarlison supporters, and honestly, in that terms, that Kildare kind of just blow up. I don't even know how to explain it. Dave's just going to have to explain it to you. Absolute shambles. I bet he was in, Rob, because it really was shocking. They had it in the bag, my man. They had it in the bag. But, I mean, let's see what Dave has to say about it when he returns. Ian, really do appreciate you grabbing that fan show membership, brother. Absolute top man. Absolute top man. But we are going to keep moving on, everybody. We're going to keep moving on to Amir. Amir, really good to see you, brother. How we doing? And I do believe you're going to be coming on a panel show sometime soon. But any of these sort of topics that we've been discussing, today, Amir, that have been caught your eye? Because I will say we kind of drained them. We've definitely talked about everything. But any of these that you feel like you just need to put your kind of mark on? Richarlison, ERIKSEN, Djed, Spence, any of those? I think you're on mute. Sorry, Amir.
Oh, so sorry about that, Jack. So
all good,
sorry,
my man.
about
all
that.
Good. How we doing? How we doing?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. How are you doing in yourself? You all right over there in the States?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I like sometimes being by myself on the fan show every once in a while, because it means that you guys are all stuck with me. You can only listen to me. You only get to answer my questions. Dave doesn't get to let you out. You're stuck with Jack.
That's it. I love your perspectives, and honestly, I love your channel as well. Doing fantastic work over there. In terms of what you just said, the Djed, Spence, the Richarlisons, all this. Just before we get to that, what do you feel
like Amir needs to talk about? What do you think Amir needs to put his mark on?
Well,
or maybe I just interrupted you. Yeah.
Firstly, don't listen to anything you read in the Guardian or any of the other newspapers. In general, it's all waff and opinion and this and that. I wouldn't look too much into articles here or there or Daily Mail or whatever it is, or if it's CNN. A lot of it is just garbage. But onto the players. I think we need to think a little bit outside the box when it comes to some of the signings. When it comes to some of the other signings, I think we need to really put a marker down and sign some, key players that are going to really bolster the squad and our chances for taking a trophy home back to the lane. So, your Bastonis, your Bremers, your Skriniars, whoever you want to bring in for that defense, you need to give the money, boom, go and get him. Now, when it comes to the midfield and the supporting striker, the extra striker, I think we need to think a little bit outside the box. So, you know, my shout would be obviously Eriksen for me is a given. I know some people don't want him in, but I think he offers so much. The fact that he can link up with Kane and with Song and with Højbjerg and with the,
are we being too picky with Eriksen? Do you think us Spurs fans
way too picky on a free as well? And you know, no, it's a given for me that he'll make a great squad member for at least a couple of seasons. You know, at least Modric is playing on to his 37 at Real at the top of his game. Yeah. So I wouldn't even worry about the age thing. So that's one. In terms of an extra striker, I kind of like
Richarlison. So what do you make of this situation? Because I'll give my quick thoughts, Amir. I feel like Richarlison is the right target that we should be going for, like the right idea. But like the price is just absurd. Like the price
is absurd. Look, if it was a swap deal, you know, like take 18 million or 20 million and you know, an extra player there that they want from us, you know, even a Stevie B or someone instead of going to Holland, I would consider that. But I think there's drawbacks that come with Richarlison. I mean, from what I've seen, he's got a bit of an attitude problem. I'm not a fan of players rolling around on the floor and diving.
He is a shit house.
Yeah, I'm not into that type of player, you know?
Especially someone like him, right? Because he's so what's pretty painful about him, I must say, Amir, is that he's one of those guys that he's like Romero, but if Romero dived, you know? Because like Romero, he'll throw like the nastiest tackle on somebody. Richarlison will do that. You know, he'll step on somebody's ankles. You know, he'll rake somebody in the heels, and then you know he'll be this big scary because he's like 6'1", I think the guy is. You know, he's a big bloke. You know, and then you'll see him go down like a feather. You know, in the next moment, all of a sudden, like he is a frustrating sort of. He is a wind up. Like he would wind me up if I were that guy. One moment he's throwing an elbow into your stomach, and then the next moment he's diving, you know, like a feather right in front of you. You know, it's
like the 5 rolls. You know, the players like they don't just do one.
He's a 5 roller.
He's a 5 roller. I don't really want that at Spurs. I gotta be honest with you. I would look at someone outside the box. I'll go with this Watford guy, Dennis. Younger, quick, technical. You know, scored 10 goals. I think like basically a 1 in 3 strike rate. A lot of young potential there, and we could get him for a decent price. Now, so if that's taking the kind of midfield, the attacking midfield and striking, what I would do, I would get Eriksen, Dennis, and then I know this one's a bit from left field. We've talked about him before, but I would nab Manuel Solomon right now. I'd go and get him. And I would pay, you know, whatever they're wanting. If they're wanting 13, 14 million for the kid.
What a steal.
It's a steal. The guy's already scored. Listen, Milinkovic-Savic hasn't scored in the Champions League. This kid's only 22. He scored 4 goals in the Champions League and against Real Madrid. He's going to be Israel's
for a
next
team
big star.
As good as Shakhtar are. Like when they reach the Champions League, they are the weaker team. Like once they reach that competition,
well, they beat them, didn't
for
they?
A team like that, like those aren't fluke goals, or not fluke.
They're not fluke goals, and he's very, very talented. And over the next decade, he's going to be like Israel's main star, going to be playing a big part in the national team. And if we can develop him, if we can get him around the types of players.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. He can go left, right, Jack. He's got an amazing shot. So, yeah, I would really consider just going out, getting him, Dennis, Eriksen, and that's 3 good players that basically for under 30 million, instead of getting a Richarlison for 60, 70, that's three great players in. And then I would spend the bulk of the money in getting that top class defender in, and maybe even an extra midfielder if we can. You know, the Milinkovic-Savic's, the people have been talking about. You know, possibly a Weston McKennie. Although you're American, you can tell me more about him. I've heard he's good. I've seen him play a little bit.
I know Paratici really likes him, Amir. Like that's the whole reason. The only reason we've been linked with him so much, like over this whole time, is because Paratici, he brought him in from Schalke, and I think he loves him so much that he wants to like bring him with him from Juventus. Almost kind of similar to Romero when you kind of think about it, because Paratici liked Romero so much that he was like, you know, it's almost like you know, like when you're getting picked, you know, for the 11, right? You know, it's like team package, you know, sort of thing. Like if Paratici goes, Romero comes with me, you know, sort of thing. And I think he's doing a similar thing with McKennie. I think he really likes McKennie. And so that's why he wants, you know, that's why we're even linked with him, is because Paratici.
And he would slot into the kind of the Skip, Bentancur and Højbjerg role there in the back.
He'd be like a box-to-box sort of midfielder. And to be fair, actually, he'd score the goals, whereas like Højbjerg and Bentancur and Skip can't score the goals. Like at the end of the day, they're not really goal scorers. Where like McKennie will score goals. Like he will score goals. The only thing I have is that Amir is that if you get McKennie, I think you need to get ERIKSEN too, because McKennie is like that box-to-box sort of midfielder that will get you maybe goals and can bring a bit of dynamism to the team. But I don't know if he's like picking apart, you know, like a deep lying team. You know, he's not like a creative midfielder. He's more of like he's more of a box-to-box sort of midfielder, and he's still young though, so like he could become a creative midfielder in the future. But
how old are we talking about?
I think he's like 23 or 22 still.
Oh, wow.
He's still young.
Oh, wow.
The kid's still young. He might even be 24 at most. He's 24 at most. But I would say I'd say you get ERIKSEN too. If you get McKennie, you get ERIKSEN too. And that's not just my idea. I think someone just earlier on the fan show or someone in the back end said that earlier, is like, if you get McKennie, you have to get a creative midfielder. So that means you get ERIKSEN on top of that.
Yeah, Well, look, that I mean, how much would you reckon he'd cost roughly?
McKennie, I feel like would be around 30 to 40 million. I'd reckon euros. I think he'd be around 30 to 40 million euros. To be fair, like that's half the price of Milinkovic-Savic. So it does make you think about it, because like if you bring in ERIKSEN and McKennie, you sort of those two together build like a Milinkovic-Savic when you kind of think about it, right? So it does make you think. Like I know we don't care about saving money, but it does make you think about it differently. You would.
Well, look, we've got to be smart as well. We've got to be smart. A lot of the downfall of your Uniteds and the Woolwich Wasters, the Gooners from across the road, they spend money on terrible players. They spent
the most money in Europe last season, the Woolwich.
Exactly. So we need to be smart. As well as bringing in exactly the players that we need, we also need to be smart about it and not just, we'll pay. You know, we did that with Ndombele. We got burnt. And I want to know where that guy's getting out of our club, because he's a disgrace. But yeah, we've been burnt before. So if we're smart, if you look at what we've been talking about, Weston McKennie, ERIKSEN, Manor Solomon, Dennis, you could probably secure all of them for under 70 million, which is what they're asking for Richarlison.
You mentioned Dennis a few times. You like Emmanuel Dennis. I like him too a lot. I feel like
him.
I think like we're going after Richarlison for that backup striker. I think we should be going after Emmanuel Dennis.
Yeah, I do like him, and I think, you know, the Premier League experience is there. The ceiling is there for him.
Most like non-penalty goals, I think, of all those like strikers. Like I think he has I think he had like 10 goals and like 5 assists or something at the end of the season. Pretty crazy, for when you think about it.
For a team like Watford as well, you know.
And none of those were penalties. Like none of those were penalties, which is kind of crazy.
You've got to have a look at the guy. You've got to have a look at the guy, and you've got to see if, you know, if he's willing to take that step up and really work on his game under Conte. Because, you know, I really do think we've got such a good coach that if we buy those players with that raw talent, he's going to be able to extract it and expand it and really push him into the top level of player. Especially, you've got to imagine as well, Jack, that these guys are going to be around Song, Kane, Kulu, Bentancur. You know, they're going to be around amazing players that are going to be able to deliver the ball for them, create chances. So your players like Dennis, like Manor, like Weston McKennie, they're all only going to benefit from it and get way, way better. So, you know, we've just brought in 4 or 5 players there for under 70 mil, and then we can go out and get the marquee defensive signings. Whoever Conte wants. If it's Bastoni, go pay the extra 10 mil, go bring him in instead of Richarlison. If we can't get Bastoni, look at the other options: Bremer, Skriniar, Pau Torres. I don't like the fact that he snubbed us, although he's a good player. So, you know, I think we need to be looking at that. And then there's one more little thing that I feel personally, I don't know, a lot of Spurs fans just get on this guy's back, and I'm not too sure. Like, obviously I understand his start with us was not that good, but towards the end of the season, Emerson Royale was playing very, very well defensively.
David and I have called him a cult hero. I think he's a cult hero.
I'm telling you, this guy, he scored goals, he assisted, and he played defensively very, very, very well against big sides, Liverpool, City, you know, these big sides that he was playing well against.
He's a funny season. So I actually think he had one of the funniest seasons any Premier League player has had, because he's come in, Amir. Emerson, he came in with all the hate on his back. Like, nobody wanted this guy to do well. And when he did originally come in, he actually did start off pretty decently, I thought, under Nuno. And then, like, he fell off a bit, and then he sort of regained himself again. Then he fell off a bit again. And then all of a sudden, like, when Doherty got injured, it was like make or break time for Emerson. And the guy came through. And so you just kind of have to, like, and he's holding a flare at the North London Derby. I think he's kind of a cult hero.
I'm telling you, this guy's going to come so good for us, and everyone's going to be eating their words. Oh, ship him out, get him out, and all this. So honestly, when people are saying we need, like, you know, a 50-60 million pound right back, I disagree. I disagree fully. I think we're going to be all right at right back with Doherty competing with Royale. Doherty also came good towards the end of the season, started playing amazing and also assisting, scoring goals, and looking like the player he was at Wolves. So if they want to
Emerson is going to leave. I think Emerson is going to leave, but I must say, like, you kind of have to look at the whole deal, and it's like people really wanted to hate on this transfer. Like, they really seem to hate this transfer. And when you really look at it, Amir, it's like, I think we're going to sell him for around 4 to 5 million less than what we really brought him in for, you know? So it's just kind of like, let's say we sell him for 20 million. Like, it's kind of like a no loss sort of transfer, because he got us into top 4. He did the job that we asked of him, and he didn't end up working out because we got in a different manager than who he was brought in for. So, like, the Emerson situation, it's almost kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like at a place of work or something like that. Like, he did the job that was asked of him, and then he got in and got paid and you know, and leaves. Sort of.
I see what you mean, but why do you think he's on his way out? I really don't.
A lot of people seem to think he's on his way out. Like, a lot of people seem to think that Conte might not like him, but maybe Conte does like him. Maybe
I really don't know where that's coming from. I can't see that. I think Conte does like him, otherwise he wouldn't have played him so much and relied on him. I don't know, you know. I think obviously in terms of compare him to Aurier, right? He's not making the terrible mistakes Aurier was and red cards, and you know, he's obviously an upgrade on him. And the guy's young. We got to give him a break as well. He's 22, right? So Kyle Walker, when he came into the side, I remember he used to make a lot of mistakes, Kyle. That was his problem. He was a beast. He was strong physically. He was quick. But he used to make quite a few mistakes, Kyle. And when he managed to eliminate that out of his game, he became world class. I'm not saying Royale is going to turn into a world class right back, but if he does work on his game and his attacking ability and his crossing, I think we could have a player on our hands. I really, really do. I really, really do. And
I love that. I love that confidence in Emerson, because to be fair, Amir, I've been sort of like, Emerson, I just had a soft spot for it, like, because when I saw that, you know, the transfer was met with so much hate, I just kind of wanted to back him. You know, like you just said, I wanted him to prove everybody wrong. I feel like he sort of did, you know, in ways, like, proved people wrong. I think he proved people right in some ways too. But I just don't think, like, anybody could look at the Emerson transfer at the end of the season and look at it really that negatively. I think you'd be really harsh to him if you were to look at it really negatively, if you ask me. I think it'd be way too unfair to him if you were to do that. Because also, like, what I think I've said this before, Amir, there's certain games when this guy won man of the match, I think, like, in certain cases. Like, this guy won the man of the match.
I'm telling you, some of his defending was really, really good. Really good. He snuffed out some top players. And I think his physical attributes as well. He's a real athlete. He's built like a tank. He's very, very strong. You're not going to get him off the ball. He's in that Brazilian national team, or you know, he's going to be in the future. I think we hold on to him and see where we go with him. And Yeah, and if Conte wants to bring in Spence as extra competition and have Royale, Doherty, and Spence, okay, do that. But Spence is not proven. He's not proven. I know he's good, and I've seen him, the clips of him, and he looks tricky and this and that, and his stats aren't really up to it. And there's only championship level experience. So for me, it's a bit of a worrying one. It's a little bit of a worrying one.
Yeah, I know what you mean, my man, and I think that's the level-headed answer I was sort of looking for, as much as it probably pained you, to be a bit more realistic. But I like that answer. Tell me about Open Peace Podcast, my man. Tell me about your channel.
Thank you so much, Jack. Well, we're really just trying to promote peace as much as possible. Obviously,
just
I'm out
500
here
as well. I see we're on 506 by the looks of it.
We did indeed. Yeah, we did indeed. A big achievement, and the rest of the team were really pumped. We've got a lot of guests and shows planned in the future. We're trying to work on something with some Russians and Ukrainians to talk about the situation over there and get a little bit better understanding of what's going on. I truly hope that in future generations we will see a more peaceful planet, because unfortunately the plague of war is not just causing suffering over here in the Holy Land, but it's all over the Middle East, it's all over the world. If you go to Africa, if you go to Ethiopia, if you go to Asia, there's all of this kind of animosity between peoples. And my experience, Jack, I'll be honest with you, I've lived in a few different countries, and I've visited. I've been blessed enough to visit quite a lot of different places, and everywhere you go, people are the same. Then they're lovely. Everyone's got their different vibes. Everyone's nice, man. I've been to Russia. I've been to Ukraine.
Hospitable. Everyone's hospitable.
Yeah.
Everybody's nice to neighbors.
Yeah.
Everybody's nice to. Yeah, I know what you mean, my man. And it's just and to be honest, Amir, it's that sort of sentiment that you just said right there is exactly what I think people should head on over to your channel, because these are the kind of comments that I think people need to be saying more, when it comes to bringing together people.
It would be great. It would be great. And it means the world to me. And honestly, we have a team of both Israelis and Palestinians. And we're really just trying to promote that. And, it'd be fantastic if people did go over there and hit that subscribe. And it really does help. And honestly, I never thought this when I started the podcast, but it's had an influence. It really has. I went to play football about 9 months ago, and one of the kids that I was playing football with recognized my voice from the podcast and came up to me and was like, "Oh, hey, Amir, I knew it was That's you. Incredible. Keep up the good work and stuff." Yeah, and so for that to happen and to hear a kid say that, on a football pitch, really kind of made me stick
also
at it.
Also close to you, locally as well. That's insane. Locally as well.
Yeah,
to you.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. I couldn't believe. Cool. And I just want to mention a quick comment here before I shoot off. Derek Smith has put, "Amir, the Russian people don't want the war. It's that Putin nutter." I couldn't agree with you more. It's so true. It's not the Russian people's war.
We've seen Russian people. You're right. We've seen Russian people, in fact, get themselves arrested. For basic protests. Against the war, just putting up a sign. Just putting up a sign, and they get arrested. So, sorry, I interrupted you. But Derek and you are spot on.
No worries. Yeah, Derek is spot on, and that's why hopefully we're going to have a Russian on this week. Somebody from St. Petersburg. We'll just hopefully that we can do it all safely so that he doesn't get himself in trouble over there, because that's the last thing that any of us want,
absolutely. But there you go, everybody. If you want more serious topics, honestly, more just topics that actually, I will say, as much as we know Spurs does make you think and think deeply about things, let's be honest, there are things in the world that are a lot more important. And I do feel like Amir is the right sort of guy that seems like he knows what he's talking about with these sort of things. And so show him the support that he deserves. He's covering very important topics, very good discussions that I know we have good discussions over here, but let's be honest, there are better discussions discussions out there about much more important things in the world. And Amir is one of those guys that are leading them. So show him the support he deserves, especially when you just don't want to think about Spurs. Head on over to the Amir Open Peace podcast. That's what I would say. Because I think every once in a while, you just want to listen to something that isn't Spurs. So show him that support.
Yeah, maybe here's some solutions you might not hear about. I've had people on, I actually had an Israeli and a Palestinian guy that came up with their own peace plan. They built a whole map and constitution and everything together. And, these are just things that, unfortunately, you won't hear in the mainstream media, and you won't hear in governments, because they're all greedy, trying to suck, money out of the people, tax, this and that, making laws, punishment. They're not actually trying to solve the crisis. So thank you so much, Jack, for your kind words. And it's always a pleasure to come on. And I'd love to see you do a Manor Solomon episode on your channel.
Let's get it done. Oh, just gave me a great idea. Let's get it done before he moves anywhere else.
That's it, because there's talk of Fulham, there's talk of Italy. I don't like that.
Dropped through, so that's why I loved your suggestion. The Solomon deal apparently dropped through. Like, for some reason, it just didn't work out. So he's still up for grabs. So definitely, my man. I'll be checking him out. And I'll let you know once it's up there. I'll let you know. You'll be the first to know. Pick up Amir. We'll see you soon, brother.
Take it easy, Jack. Thank you, everyone. Take it easy.
Everybody, big up Amir in the comments. He deserves that support. Show him the support and Open Peace podcast. I'll say this one more time. Like I said, we discuss very, fun, interesting stuff over here. But I know Amir discusses things that are very important when it comes to this world. And at the end of the day, are things that do impact more people on this planet. So if you want to have maybe, some discussions, or at least listen to some smart people talk about some very important things, show Amir that support. But we have our last guest of the evening, and I'm looking forward to it as well, because he's taking the time out of his evening. Seems like he just got back from work or whatever it may be, and he's still taking the time to pop in on the fan show. Ian, how we doing, my man?
I'm doing good. I'm the last one, really? All right, cool.
Yeah, you're finishing it off. I don't whether the pressure is off or on, however you want to look at it, my man. You're the last one of the evening. What are your thoughts, though, like going into this? I mean, I know we have all these topics that I brought up before: Richarlison, ERIKSEN, Reguilón. Are any one of these you want to address? Or is there something you feel like I didn't bring up that you want brought up?
I'm not sure. Let's just start with the one that is on the screen right now.
Sure.
Is Reggie leaving? I think he's out, honestly. I mean, like I honestly wish it had worked out, and like I was really pulling for him there for a while. But I think if we can get him in a swap deal, or just like send him out on his own right, great. Just I'm not too familiar. How much is he currently valued at transfer wise?
I think the release clause I've heard is 33 million for him to go back to, or 30 million for him to go back to Real. So I would imagine Spurs would probably accept anywhere near that price. So probably 35 million is maybe what they might accept from somebody else. Maybe 35 to 40.
Sure. If there's some club out there that wants to pay that for him, send him out. Honestly, I am completely okay.
I think he is worth that. That actually, we'd probably get a lot. That's plenty. That's actually probably overpaying, maybe even for Reggie. But if you ask me, Ian, I feel like I had a soft spot for Reggie ever since he's been here. I thought he's been someone, who's put in a lot of effort, seems to get up and down the pitch well, doesn't seem to be a bad influence or like a bad, kind of personality, in the dressing room. So if you ask me, like, if he were to leave, let's say tomorrow, I'd be a bit sad to see him go.
Right. Yeah. Because he's what, like 22, 23? He's extremely young.
He's still young. No, he's still young, but I think he's like 25. I think he's actually more than 25.
Okay. Yeah. It's like I would say like 25. I think he just – I don't want to make excuses for players, obviously, but he came in under Mourinho. The whole like Ryan Mason thing, that's what it was. No. Let's just say that was a whole like that wasn't exactly Reggie's fault. Wasn't Nuno's fault. It was just the front office not wanting to like shell out the cash. I just think in a non-COVID world, I think it works out. But unfortunately, I think there's a lot of good young players who have gotten screwed just because of COVID, and there's really just no like making up for that loss of time. Unfortunately,
there isn't no making up for that loss of time. That's actually a good way to put it. My last little question maybe on Reggie is like, we all kind of thought that he would do well, like in this Conte team, like Brian Daigle put before, like he has all the attributes, like he had the pace, you know, he had the delivery, he, you know, had the, you know, the stamina to get up and down, you know, like a wing back does. It's just, I don't know if you need to come up with an explanation for why it didn't work, but really just my question is, it's kind of crazy that it didn't work out, you know, and I know that doesn't sound like a question, but it is crazy it didn't work out at that left wing back position.
Right. And like, I think also too, it's like, look, it's just one of those things where on paper, he's relatively young enough. It could have worked in like any system, but unfortunately it was just one of those like things that just didn't work out. And honestly, he's one of those players that I'm happy to see him go, but as long as they leave England, I'm really happy. I mean, I just don't want him to just like stay in the league and just come back and just haunt us.
We don't want to see him at Chelsea. Yeah, we don't want to see him at Chelsea. Yeah.
No, it's like he's definitely in that class where it's like I'm happy to see him leave, but as long as he leaves England, I'm happier. So
I actually agree with you. I'd actually be really disappointed if he moved to another Premier League club, and because I actually see him probably, like even brought up before by somebody who's saying that he's done well in a back four. So if he went to another team that had a back four, I could see him playing pretty well. And then
I'd be
probably
so
causing
pissed.
us some nightmares. Yeah, and I could see him causing us some nightmares. I think that's a good answer there. Let's just go up the list on the topics then.
Sure.
The next one is Eriksen rejecting Brentford. Basically, the one London club that probably was the most likely one for him to go to was Brentford.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this sort of means that the Tottenham, is he signing with Spurs, if you were to guess? Is he going to sign with Spurs?
I'm by nature a pretty hopeless romantic here, so a large part of me wants him to come home. It really does. Yeah. And I think enough time has passed with, especially just given how he left. And yeah, like you could tell for basically like that part of what was it, the 1920 season, where it's like you could just see like he was just exhausted. He wasn't in it. It happens, and I do think like some time away from home, and of course everything that happened with him last year, I think that definitely has a way of putting things in perspective here. So if you ask me right now, is he coming home? I'm saying yeah, because I'm trying to think here. He's not going to Chelsea. He's not going to Arsenal. He's not headed to Palace. He's not headed to Fulham. Like I think he's
not going to another London team other than Spurs. And
right.
Someone said earlier they don't see him leaving London, which is we only know like could be true or not true. But if he doesn't want to leave London, then there really is only one destination left. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to figure it out. So,
and I would be very happy if he comes home. I'd be thrilled, honestly.
What did you make of that suggestion I made earlier, where maybe instead of getting someone like a Milinkovic-Savic, who's like a creative midfielder and a box-to-box player, what if you got someone like McKennie, who's like someone like Paratici seems to really like McKennie? What if you brought in McKennie as like that box-to-box scoring midfielder, and then got an Eriksen as that creative midfielder? Do you think that's a good workaround? Is that a good workaround?
I think, especially if we're potentially getting Eriksen on a free and we're getting McKennie for what, 35 or so. I would say that's cash well spent. And I could be wrong here, but I think the majority of our midfielders, if not all of them, aren't exactly offensively minded.
No,
right?
We need offense.
Okay, yeah. So, and I think if we do bring in with Wes, there's no one I would prefer to have him learn from than Eriksen, honestly. Now, of course, this could be my extremely biased U.S. national team perspective here, but I think I think with West could flourish under Antonio Conte.
Yeah.
I just think his biggest obstacle is just getting used to playing in the Prem, which I mean, it's like it's like and
he hit the ground running essentially. Yeah, when he
I would say short answer no, but I would love to be wrong. I think a lot of like U.S. fans see what happened to Christian Pulisic, and like obviously they don't play the same like spot, but he's either hot or he can't even get off the bench. And of course, the U.S. national team played against Morocco here in Cincy a couple of weeks ago, and let's just say if Christian Pulisic comes back to Cincy, he's not exactly. He's not going to get a warm. He's not going to get a warm reception at all. It's like it's the USFA. You're playing it. You're playing the match midweek, and you're charging $75. Like read the room, folks.
He was out of line
for that.
He was very out of line for that. He was
completely. Yeah.
I also thought it like as well. Like he wasn't. I don't know, like this is very US heavy, but just to show support for you, like I thought that was shocking, especially since you guys are now being added into the list for the World Cup destination cities as well. It's just not a good way to start off the relationship between the team and its fans. I will say not a good job on Christian there. But I must say, with McKennie, like maybe he has the physical attributes to make that transition to the front because he is exceptionally athletic, and he is also
huge.
Very good at being able to get up and down, like up the pitch really well.
Yeah. It's like, and especially if he's paired with like, let's just say for an FA Cup or just something like that. If he's paired with ERIKSEN up front, that potentially just takes a lot of the pressure off of like ERIKSEN takes the pressure off of the front. It potentially takes a lot of the pressure off of the front three. Now, if he's playing with like Højbjerg, Skip, and Takor, I mean, like that frees them up to just wreak havoc, I would think. It's like just because like I think he's only 6 foot, but like for his speed though, like once he's
bigger
just
and taller than that,
he's huge. Yeah. It's like I'm just under 6 foot, and this guy's a tank. So I think it would be a good investment for Spurs for sure.
Richarlison feels the same way, just height wise, because when I found out Richarlison was 6 feet, and I was like, wait, I'm 5'11". I was like, there's no way this guy's 6 feet tall. Richarlison looks absolutely massive on camera. And I just thought that was, and if McKennie is sort of similar, where he's like 6 feet, I'd be shocked. There's no way I'm like close to that guy's height. That's crazy. But there you are. Apparently these guys are more like us the more that we find out. But maybe Spurs liking Richarlison. Just speaking of the guy, what are your thoughts?
I'm intrigued.
I'll start you off. My thinking is the right player to go after in terms of that backup striker / somebody that can fill in for the front three, because he can fill in for Kulu, he can fill in for Kane, and he can fill in for Sonny. So I feel like that's the right type of player that we're going after. It's just for some reason, and because it's Spurs, the price is so extortionate.
Right. Well, I think it's a combination of the front office
idea, but 60 million, is just unfortunate.
Well, it's like I think it's a combination of the front office advertising. They're pumping 150 million into the club, which I kind of have like mixed feelings about, like how you actually advertise that, but that's beside the point. So I think it's a combination of that plus Everton having just a spectacularly shit year. So and
they need it. They need that money. Yeah.
And also with Everton, basically to be like, okay, look, if you want our top person here, you're gonna have to shell out the cash, because he's only 25, I think, right? So if I'm in Everton's position here, I would hate to sell him, but with a club like Spurs, though, I think
you don't want to be bullied. You don't want to be bullied. By
right. Yeah. It's like so. Like I would say, I would say like I'm fairly intrigued because like I think I tweeted it out like he gives Kane a rest that he's going to need. Like I would say you starred him against like I would say like Fulham, Brentford, like those sort of like things, right? And just give Kane's legs a rest because we have Champions League, which we need him for. So I would say just from that perspective alone, and as well, he doesn't have to be he doesn't have to be like the main man at Spurs. He's the main guy at Everton. So that takes a lot. So that in theory should take a lot of the pressure off of him.
It should.
So and yeah, there's like things about how I would say there's been like reports about his like attitude and things like that. Hopefully Conte can just work that out of him, or at least like
people say he has bad attitude. I think he has a bad attitude in the sense that he's very clearly emotional when the way that he plays. But I think it's the right kind of emotional. Like I think he clearly gets very up for it. He's very intense. He obviously likes to, kind of get the other players, kind of riled up. He likes to, kind of wind up other people, likes to get in people's head. So if people consider that to be a bad attitude, I could see why, because he seems like a bit of a nutcase. At the same time, though, like you just said, you could see someone like Conte taming that sort of kind of personality.
Well, yeah, it's like, and you just think of it like this, because I think I forget what year Everton signed him from Watford, but like. But like just how with like Watford's been the last handful of years, I mean, like I'd be pissed off all the time as well, too, right? It's like just knowing that you're not going to play in Europe, all right?
Yeah.
And you don't have that like support system around you that someone of his age and his just like raw talent actually needs. So I think potentially there are worse ways to spend however many millions of like pounds on him. All right. But yeah, like if I had to pick like right now, sure. And also, and one, it's like, and we also have like 5 subs heading into next year too. So if we're just like destroying, I don't know, whoever 3-4-0, and it's like the 75th, right? Get Harry off, put him on, and just let him run.
Yeah, just let him run. Absolutely.
Yeah,
completely agree. Last topic of the evening, Ian. Spurs seem to be leading the race for Djed Spence. It is possible as well that we might be signing him this week. I kind of feel like Michael had the best sort of take on this, where he was sort of kind of saying like, he's not going to just say that the signing isn't going to work, or anything, but it is one of those signings. It doesn't exactly, give you any tingles, or anything, just it almost maybe puts more questions than really answers, this sort of thing. But I would say it makes you want to like believe it's like, maybe this is the one that, you're more excited about because like this guy could prove us wrong, sort of thing.
Right. So I guess the way that I look at it, I'm glad we're not in a position where if he comes in, he has to start. All right. Well, like I'm very glad that things are not so bad for us where that's the thing. Now like spending 20 on him, sure. I mean, like if that's what Middlesbrough wants, sure, fine, have it. Is he a project? Sure. Is he young? Sure. I would just, yes, like I would say like I'm definitely in that camp of like, okay, sure. I mean, like I genuinely do not have strong feelings about it one way or the other.
Or the other. Yeah. I know what you mean. I do know what you mean.
Yeah.
For me with Djed Spence, the thing I'm most worried about is like if he isn't like instantly challenging that first team, like he seems to struggle with challenging Emerson or Doherty, just kind of worries me because then I'm just kind of like, that's the position that I feel like we needed the biggest upgrade in right away. And if that player can't instantly replace Doherty or Emerson, it just really would worry me. The same time, though, if you ask me, Ian, why are we going after this guy if Spurs don't rate him? Like, you know, Spurs must clearly rate the guy much more than like maybe you or I do. And that's obviously because they're able to watch him more. They have all the stats on him that you or I don't have. But that's maybe what gives me confidence, is that Spurs seem to rate this guy maybe more than the average person does.
Yeah. It's like I would say, and of course, it just depends on the situation.
Almost like a Billy Bean sort of kind of situation where it's like Billy Bean really rates this guy. Maybe you just kind of go ahead with it. You know?
Right. Yeah. It's like and I would say say like you have ERIKSEN, which I think will be a huge help. But yeah, like if he's not challenging at least Emerson, then I think potentially you can chalk it up to like youth and experience. Fine. I just think like either way, I wouldn't get too hyped or just too like, yes, like just right now, just wait and see what happens. And as well, like we've spent way more on way less. Now, now it's like I would say, yeah, it's like because what we're looking at, what like rumored 20 million for 3 years, right?
Apparently, yeah. I think it's basically going to be sort of the same price, like probably a bit less than maybe what Emerson was, around the same price.
Okay. And I'm personally of that opinion. Sure. Why not? Even if it's like even if he's a huge like flop, there's plenty of other leagues, plenty of other squads that would just pay out for him. So I would like I would say
he really seems like a player though that wouldn't fall on his face. Like I really doubt that he would completely flop. There might be a chance that he might not hit the ground running in the way that maybe Spurs fans might want him to, but I really doubt he's going to flop. It's just potentially the case that he might not do as instantaneously well as maybe Spurs want him to, is maybe my
it's like, and I think also too though he's definitely one of those players though, you play him in the FA, you play him like in the domestic cups, and like you trotted him out against, you know, Brentford, Fulham, Bournemouth, like just to see how he can actually shape up here. But I would say like if we're in a position where we have to play him, or he's seen as like the upgrade heading into a, you know, City, United, Chelsea, that's when I'm just gonna be like, okay, we'll see how badly this train wreck is. But yeah, it's like I would say like if we're able to bring him in, sure.
Yeah, I like that. I like that confidence, Ian. Well, my man, absolute pleasure. Really do appreciate you finishing it off for us. Just like Dermot setting the tone in the beginning, you've just finished the tone at the end of the show. I don't really know. Maybe I'll just let you go. Is there anything maybe I didn't ask you that you wanted to get off your chest or something? Or will I be seeing you next time?
I'd say not really. I'd probably say I will see
Cincinnati updates of any kind. Doesn't even need to be football related. Anything?
It is raining like hell outside. It got
I've heard Ohio summers are actually horrible. So I've heard.
Yeah. It's been humid as hell. It's going to be horrible for probably the next like week and a half. I think the low for the next 10 days is 86. So
kind of funny that you guys don't seem to get one good season by the looks of it. No good seasons in Ohio.
Right. And I think Cincinnati finds out if they did make the cut to host a World Cup game. I believe that so there's a rumor going around that there's a presser being held Thursday at, I believe, early afternoon, like at one of the bars directly across from Paul Brown, I think. So here's hoping.
Here's hoping, and honestly, hopefully, you guys get that bit, and then Christian Pulisic is going to have to apologize to you.
Dude, like I just cannot wait. Like if that happens, he is just like he's on Cincy's shit list for a while.
He's on shit list. He's on Cincinnati shit list.
I mean, I would not be shocked if during the World Cup he gets booed while playing England, and it takes a lot for a U.S. player to get booed against England.
Yeah, we're quite nice. We're quite nice usually. So I was gonna say that does take a lot. Definitely does take a lot. But Ian, absolute pleasure, brother. Really, thank you for coming on. Thanks for taking the time out of your evening.
Happy to.
Thanks for pushing us over 3 hours, which is exactly what we want to be hitting, that 3 hour mark. So Ian, I'm actually very glad that you popped on, my man. Catch you very soon, brother. Catch you soon.
All right, guys. Bye.
My man. Everybody, show Ian the support that he deserves. Everybody, especially at the end of the show. Just like with Dermot, it's tough to start the show off. And then in Ian's case, it's sometimes tough to, finish the show. So show him the support that he deserves. Tottenham Gold saying, big up Jack for tonight. Great show as always. Thank you very much, Dermot. Like I said, thank you very much for starting us off right, Dermot. I think it just set the tone for the whole show, brother. So really do appreciate you, my man. You started me off right. And then he also has a super sticker. And it's doing the big pump of the one as well. Big number one. Big up, Dermot. Really do appreciate you, my man. But everybody, thank you so much for tuning in for the fan show today. Yet again, another fan show done and wrapped up. As always, we do have the link in the chat or in the description for you to grab that channel membership. I am going to just stick around for just a tiny bit, everybody, because I do feel like what we haven't maybe plugged enough on this channel is the fact that David and I, everybody, we have just redone all the memberships. So from the Flat Cap membership, the fan show membership, and the elite membership. The Flat Cap membership is a great way just to support the channel, get your name read aloud for all the comments, as well as in the live chat, you get shout outs. It's just a great way to also show your support for the channel. The fan show membership, everybody, gets you that fan show link, because the fan show links, they're always put in the community section for everybody with the fan show membership and higher. So please grab that fan show membership. It's the best way for you to get on the fan shows. We're doing 2 fan shows a week now, 2 fan shows a week. From Monday, every time, just like at this time at 8 o'clock from onwards, for however long you guys need us to go. And then on Fridays as well, we're doing fan shows now. We're going to be discussing all the sort of transfer related news. So everybody grab the fan show memberships, because we're doing 2 shows a week right now. But everybody, on Flat Cap Euro Talk, we are going to be having, I think, another live stream this Wednesday. Like pretty much when it comes to Flat Cap Euro Talk, everything over there is going to be related to Spurs transfers, or maybe related to something outside of, kind of the non-Spurs world. I either am talking about Spurs transfers, or I'm kind of talking about something that kind of keeps your mind off of Spurs for the time being. So do head on over to Flat Cap Euro Talk, show the support over there. Lastly, Manscaped, use that 20%, use that code FLATCAP, get 20% off, get the outlad, get the father, the gift that he definitely has been looking for, something that he probably would never get himself. Use that code FLATCAP, get 20% off. That'll be it for today, though, everybody. Dave, I'm pretty sure we'll be back quite soon. I think he just needs to recover from a bit of from some man flu, from a bit of sickness. But he will be back very, very soon. Really do appreciate you guys helping him out, and really do appreciate everybody who's thrown in the super chats, drop the likes, just been able to tune in today. Really do appreciate you, Harris Army. Thank you very much. Irish Hotspur Army. You guys show me a lot of support, especially when I'm on my own, just kind of running it all by myself. You guys are very, very kind to me. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. That'll be all for now. As always, come on, you Spurs, and in code say we trust.